It's Sentinels hockey time tonight from the Hamilton Community Ice Arena in Columbus, Indiana. The Sentinels and the Port Huron Prowlers square off, and the final weekend on home ice for the Sentinels in their inaugural season in the Federal Prospects Hockey League. Welcome to the Sentinels pregame show, brought to you by Body Armor. I'm Jim Mirabello. The Sentinels and the Port Huron Prowlers have seen a lot of one another. They've played 14 times this year, 10 of them on the road in Port Huron at the Prowlers' home building, the McMorran Place Arena. And in this building, they've seen each other 4 times. And the last time they got together was Sunday, March 1st. The Sentinels won it by a final score of 3-2 in a penalty-filled game. 55 minutes in penalty time compiled by Indiana that afternoon. 51 for Port Huron. Will that trend continue here tonight? The two teams have seen each other twice since then, both in Port Huron. On March 7th, the Prowlers won it 5-2, and on March 6th, Port Huron skated away with a 3-0 win. The Sentinels overall against the Prowlers are 4-8-2, 4 wins, 8 losses, 2 overtime losses. Here on home ice, they're 1-2-1, and in Port Huron, they are 3-6-1 this year. So of the Sentinels' 9 regulation time wins this year, 4 of them have come against the team they're playing tonight. The last time when they met here, that Sunday afternoon, Sentinels 3-2 win. They won in Port Huron on the 13th of December, 4-2 in favor of Indiana. The night before, the Sentinels won at 4-3. They came back from a 2-0 deficit that night. Ivan Panovanov got the game-winning goal at 11:05 of the third period. And in Port Huron this year, way back on the 14th of November, the Sentinels won it 9-3. It was the first win in franchise history. Bo Zinchenko had the hat trick that night. All 3 of his goals came in the first period, a first period in which the Sentinels scored 5 times and led it 5-1 after 1. So they got off to a great start that night, and one of the keys to tonight is trying to get off to a good start against this Port Huron team. The Sentinels put themselves behind the 8 ball early in 2 of their last 3 games. This past Sunday afternoon, they gave up the game's first goal 16 seconds in a 6-1 loss to the Topeka Scarecrows. And on Friday night, the Scarecrows scored 11 seconds after the opening faceoff en route to a 4-3 win over the Sentinels. So giving up those goals in the first half minute of play have been a thorn in Indiana's side in 2 of their last 3 games. And the Sentinels will be looking to get their goal production on track. Since a 5-3 win in Topeka on the 31st of January, 5 goals they scored that night. 11 games since then, scoring 22 goals and being shut out 5 times, although they have shown some signs of snapping out of that goal-scoring slump. They put 5 on the board in the 5-2 win over the Topeka Scarecrows here on Saturday night, including 4 goals in the third period to put that game away against that strong Scarecrows team. And Indiana scored 3 goals in the 4-3 loss to Topeka on Friday. The Sentinels coming off the Sunday afternoon 6-1 setback to Topeka. The Port Huron Prowlers have won 2 straight. They are 8-2-0 in their last 10 games. They've played 47 games on the season. They've won 26 in regulation time, dropped 15 in regulation time, scored 1 overtime loss, 3 overtime wins, and 2 shootout wins. And with their 89 points in the standings, they are in second place in the Empire Division and 4th overall in the league standings. The Sentinels come in having played 46 games. They've won 9 in regulation time, 31 regulation time losses, 4 overtime losses, no overtime wins, and 2 shootout wins with 35 points. Indiana is in the number 7 spot in the Empire Division and in the number 13 position overall in the 14-team Federal Prospects Hockey League here in their inaugural season in the league. So Indiana and Port Huron, they weren't originally scheduled to play tonight. This game was scheduled back for the 25th of January when the snowstorm hit central Indiana and much of the country. So that game was postponed, and it is being made up here tonight in the start of 3 games in 3 nights. Last chance to see the Sentinels on home ice before they head to Minnesota next weekend for a neutral site series against the Topeka Scarecrows. And that is going to take place at the Ralph Engelstad Arena in Thief River Falls, Minnesota, as Indiana and Topeka will debut FPHL hockey for the brand new Thief River Falls expansion franchise that will skate next season. And then after that, the Sentinels will play 5 on the road to conclude their inaugural year in the FPHL. So if you've thought about coming out to catch some Sentinels action in person, you'll have, after tonight, 2 more chances to do it. Tomorrow night at 7:30, and then Saturday night at 7:30 when the Binghamton Black Bears come to town, and they are the top team by far and away in the FPHL. Through 48 games played, they've won 38, lost only 5 in regulation time, 2 overtime losses, no overtime wins, running away with the Empire Division with 122 points. For Port Huron, they are in the number 2 spot in the division right now, 89 points through 47 games played. They're trying to hold off a challenge from Topeka for that number 2 spot. Port Huron trying to nail down home ice advantage in the opening round of the playoffs, and Topeka and Biloxi trying to spoil those plans. Topeka and Biloxi start the night tied for 3rd and 4th in the Empire Division, and Danbury trying to stay in the race with 61 points. The Danbury Dashers trying to fight their way into a playoff spot this year. So Port Huron in the driver's seat right now as far as nailing down 2nd place and home ice advantage in the first round. And in order to do that, they need to keep playing strong, and this is an important game for them in the standings tonight. Port Huron is the most penalized team in the FPHL. They have compiled 1,436 minutes in penalty time on the season. The next most is Monroe with 1,187. The Sentinels, by comparison, 1,010 penalty minutes in time on the year. And the team with the fewest amount of penalty minutes is Twin City with 639. So the Port Huron Prowlers more than doubling the amount of penalty minutes of the least penalized team in the league, Port Huron, with 1,436. And they have done well. They're battling it out and headed toward the playoffs and in the driver's seat to finish 2nd in the division. Penalty minutes don't always translate into success on the ice, though. Case in point, Binghamton running away with things in the league right now in the Empire Division, and in the top spot for the league overall, has accumulated just 813 minutes in penalty time, and that places them in the category of 2nd fewest in the league behind Twin City. But that is Port Huron's style of play, and the Prowlers have 4 players who've accumulated over 100 minutes in penalty time this season. They are Ben Brockway, their penalty minute leader, with 189. Brockway will not be in the lineup tonight for Port Huron, so the Sentinels won't have to contend with him, but they have 3 others who have racked up over 100 minutes in penalty time. Brian Parsons with 185. Reggie Millette with 102. Matt Graham with 102. Graham will not be in the lineup tonight either. He is here. He is their player head coach, and tonight he'll just be wearing the head coaching hat behind the bench and not taking part in the action on the ice. So with Brockway, his 189 minutes in penalty time out of the lineup tonight. Same with Graham, 102. They've got Parsons with 185, Millette with 102, and a couple of others right behind. Blake Anderson with 99 minutes in penalty time, and J.B. Bussell, who's racked up 95 minutes in penalty time. And the Prowlers certainly will miss the presence of Graham in the lineup tonight. He's got 16 goals, 27 assists, 43 points on the season. He is their assist leader with 27 on the year, and their point leader on the season with 43 on 16 goals and 27 assists. The goal leader for the Prowlers is Bobby Price with 21. And Port Huron does feature a very balanced scoring attack. They have 7 players in their lineup with 10 goals or more. And we'll be seeing a rookie goaltender in net tonight for the Prowlers. Making his first professional start will be Jamison Bork, 6', 205-pounder out of New Hampshire. He has played in just a couple of games this year, accumulating 39 minutes and 39 seconds of playing time in those games that he came on in relief on a couple of occasions. He did get to play Sunday afternoon in relief in the Prowlers' victory to get a little taste of game action. Coach Matt Graham probably anticipating starting him here tonight. So getting him into the action on Sunday afternoon to finish up their game on Sunday. And he will get his first pro start here tonight in net. He has taken one loss on the year in one of his relief starts early in the year. 6.05 goals against average and a save percentage of .800. So we'll see if the Sentinels can get some pressure on him early and try and take the upper hand in this game, try and get their goal production on track as they aim for their 10th win in regulation time this year to go along with 2 overtime wins and finish the year here at home on a strong note. They did win on Saturday night this past weekend, 5-2 over Topeka. Dalton Anderson had a pair of goals. Phil Tomacek, Cole Willett, Maximus Merrick Tortorella also scoring for Indiana. Previous victories here on home ice. And that Sunday afternoon, March 1st, 3-2 win over the Prowlers. The Sentinels were victorious here in this building the day after Christmas, winning it in a shootout 5-4 over the Blue Ridge Bobcats. And the first win on home ice was the 19th of December, 6-4 over the Watertown Wolves. The Sentinels did have a couple of games in which they collected points here at home. One of them a 3-2 overtime loss to the Port Huron Prowlers on New Year's Eve. And the very first home point came on the 29th of November, 3-2, an overtime loss to the Blue Ridge Bobcats. So we'll see if the Sentinels can wrap up this season series against a team that's become a great rival of theirs in the Empire Division, the Port Huron Prowlers. 15th meeting overall. Indiana 4-8-2 against Port Huron. 1-2-1 here on home ice. And our final look at these two teams going at one another this year. This is the Indiana Sentinels pregame show brought to you by Body Armor. Time now for a look around the FPHL. This is the only game in action tonight. Everybody else will swing back into play this weekend, Friday and Saturday night. Right now, the hottest team in the league is the Athens Rock Lobsters. They have the longest current win streak. They've won 8 in a row. And teams that are also on heaters right now, Binghamton's won 4 straight, and they have the second longest win streak in the league. Blue Ridge has won 3 in a row. Binghamton 9-0-1 in its last 10. Blue Ridge having won 3 straight, 6-4-0 in its last 10. And Port Huron winners of 2 straight, 8-2-0 in their last 10. Athens leading the Continental Division, 9-1-0 in their last 10 with their 8-game win streak. PD remains hot, and they are 7-2-1, having won 3 straight. Monroe hot as well, 6-2-2 in their last 10. Teams struggling right now. The longest current losing streak in the league belongs to Twin City. They've dropped 4 straight. Baton Rouge has lost 3 in a row. Biloxi has lost 3 straight. The Biloxi Breakers are 1-9-0 in their last 10, and they are just having a very rough year. They have only won 5 games in regulation time this season and 2 more in overtime. And in the Empire Division, Watertown continuing to struggle at 1-8-1. The Sentinels 2-8-0 in their last 10. Indiana does have a chance to get out of the basement of the Empire. They can catch Watertown. Indiana has 2 games in hand on Watertown, having played 46, and Watertown having played 48. And there's a 10-point difference in the standings right now. So catching Watertown and finishing a step ahead in the Empire is certainly an attainable goal for the Sentinels, who right now the big thing is building towards next season, generating some excitement around pro hockey and the fans here that have come out to support this team this year. And that's the objective right now for Indiana. The Sentinels are ahead of Biloxi in the overall league standings, and they're also within range of catching Baton Rouge in the overall league standings. Baton Rouge with 42 points, Indiana with 35, and the Sentinels have one game in hand on Baton Rouge, and Baton Rouge having played 47 to Indiana's 46. Time now for the starting lineups, and first for the visitors from Port Huron, Michigan. Jamison Bork starts in net tonight, as we had mentioned, his first pro start. He's seen only about 40 minutes of playing time all year, and he'll get the nod in goal here tonight. Defensively, Timothy Organ will be paired up on the back line with Nicholas Favaro, and up front, a line of Alexander Ray with Connor Bizal and Dylan Marty for head coach Matt Graham's Port Huron Prowlers. 26 wins on the season. Great year for them. 15 losses, 1 overtime loss, 3 overtime wins, and 2 shootout wins. Now for the Sentinels, we will see Chris Kerr in net tonight. 6'1", 199-pounder out of Alberta, getting the start in net for the Sentinels. Defensively, it'll be Cole Willett on the back line with Richie Colarusso. Cole Willett with Seth Bacon on the back line, and we'll have the rest of the starters in a moment after our national anthem. So for Indiana, as we had mentioned, Chris Kerr getting the nod in goal. Defensively, Seth Bacon and Cole Willett to start. And up front, it'll be Dalton Anderson with Blake Peavy and Bo Zinchenko, the starting lineup for the Indiana Sentinels. The Sentinels pregame show brought to you by Body Armor. Indiana will attack from left to right here in period number 1. Chris Kerr getting set to go in net down to our left. And Jamison Bork in net down to our right. Indiana hoping for a better start here tonight than they've had in 2 of their last 3 games, in which they gave up the game's first goal in the first half minute of play, 16 seconds in to Topeka in the 6-1 setback on Sunday, and 11 seconds in on Friday night in the 4-3 loss to the Scarecrows. But the Sentinels have picked up the goal scoring 3 on Friday night against Topeka and 5 on Saturday in that 5-2 win over the Scarecrows, their last victory. And we've got the face-off at center ice. Christos Bormanis is actually going to be out here to start at center to handle the opening draw. And a puck won by the Sentinels. Bormanis drawing it back to his own end. It's loose along the far boards. Giving chase for Indiana, Dalton Anderson. Cole Willett also And now the puck played to Blake Peavy on the right wing side, and he'll bring it out to center. Peavy dumps it in deep into the right wing corner of the Port Huron end. Peavy hustling in after it. Indiana's team captain centers, and they score! This time it's Indiana's chance to get the game's first goal in the opening minute of play. And they strike on the young goaltender, Jamison Bork, and have taken a 1-0 lead. Great work by team captain Blake Peavy out of the right wing corner to get the puck in front, and the Sentinels able to finish the play. And they've taken a 1-0 lead on their very first shot on goal of the game. And the player in front who was able to take the pass from Peavy and finish the play is Dalton Anderson. He records his 7th goal of the season. It comes 29 seconds into period number 1. So Anderson from Peavy putting Indiana on top 1-0. And the puck played by the Prowlers deep into the Indiana end. Reggie Millette on the right wing side. Drops it back to the right point for a long shot sent wide of the goal by Port Huron's Brent Lockhart out here on defense on the right side. Prowlers continue to pressure. Ucell trying to center. That's broken up. Puck rolling in behind the Indiana net. Ivan Ponovanov will track it down. Trying to clear it along the near boards. Kept in by Lockhart, and he dumps it back in behind the Indiana net. Prowlers work it free. They get it to Lockhart at the right point. And he'll wheel it in deep into the right wing corner, Indiana territory. Ponov giving chase, rubbed off the puck. In deep by Port Huron's DeCumbus, but Indiana able to recover. Ross up with the puck. Zach Ross sending it through center. First one there, Cunningham, a backhander from the right wing side, right on net. And the stop is made by Bork. He makes his first save of the night on Indiana's second shot on goal. That's got to be the key for the Sentinels right now. You've got a young rookie goaltender in his first pro start who's played only just under 40 minutes on the season. Get the pucks on net, get pressure on him. And Indiana does on their very first opportunity of the night. They score. The goal collected by Dalton Anderson. His 7th of the season. 6th in an Indiana uniform. And Indiana's on top 1-0. Puck loose near side Sentinels territory. Tomacek tying his man up. And away with the puck skates Lease quickly. Feeds Zinchenko. Back to Lease, putting it in front. Broken up, still loose in the high slot area. And taking it and firing it is Zinchenko. And it caroms off a stick and goes up and over the glass and out of play. So a great effort to start tonight for Indiana. And as we had talked about the goals they'd given up in the first minute of play, a win would have been getting through that without getting scored on, but the Sentinels take it one step greater than that and getting one of their own. Officially at 29 seconds on the score sheet, Dalton Anderson from Blake Peavy. And with Indiana getting Seth Bacon back in the lineup, Peavy is able to play his natural position up front. Bacon was suspended for one game. He was out of the lineup on Sunday, but back here tonight. And so with Indiana with a full complement of defensemen available, Peavy steps back into his natural position up front. Sentinels with it at center. Anderson back out on the ice after getting the game's first goal. Dumps it from long range on net, and it is handled and held on to by Bork. And the faceoff will come up in the left wing circle of the Port Huron end. Indiana with Noah Hivellett-Smith out here, Maximus Merrick Tortorella, and Corey Cunningham up front, Ivan Ponovanov. Joining them, along with Zach Ross on defense. Ponovanov and Ross working the points. Ross, a newcomer in the Sentinels lineup, playing in his second game here tonight. Made his debut this past Sunday afternoon against Topeka. And the Prowlers, wearing the white road jerseys, swing it out through center into the Port Huron end. They set up an opportunity on the right wing side, and a good back check by Ponovanov to knock it off the stick of Bobby Price with 21 goals on the year. Price leading the Prowlers in that category. And a nice job by the Sentinels to deny him a good grade A scoring chance right there. Puck loose at center, and the Sentinels, Tortorella standing his man up on the blue line. Puck recovered though by Lockhart. Indiana territory overskates it at the top edge of the near circle, and the Sentinels clear it back through center into Port Huron territory. Circling with it, Austin Federle brings it out to center. He can skate. Federle up left wing. Bears in deep toward the net, cuts in behind the goal, slides it across on the right wing side, grabbed there by Ray. Alexander Ray, hip checked in the far corner by Terrain, who's lost his helmet. It sits loose, and then Kerr able to make the stop as the puck comes loose, and two Prowlers in front with an opportunity. Alexander Ray right on the doorstep, along with Dylan Marty, creating that scoring chance on Kerr, and he makes his first stop of the night. 3 minutes and 51 seconds into period number one. Indiana 1 and Port Huron nothing. And Dalton Anderson has been a great contributor to the Sentinels of late. Scored a pair of goals in the win over Topeka on Friday night. Anderson, 5'9", 187-pounder out of Ontario. Pro status on the roster. Product of Adrian College and 2 national championship appearances in his college days before joining the pro ranks. Prowlers on the move, and Kerr makes a big stop as skating down the right wing side and whipping one on net. And being denied was Jamie Bussell. Sentinels will let to center, wanting a line change. He'll lift it in deep into the right wing corner of the Port Huron end. Indiana 1, Port Huron nothing. 4.5 minutes gone here in period number one. And the Prowlers play the puck out to center. Parsons, a long pass, trying to gather it in on the right wing side. Vincent DeCumbus, he'll steer it into the near corner, Indiana territory. Back for it, Ponovanov looking to clear. Cunningham as well. Now joining them, Noah Hippolyte-Smith. He was able to get a piece of it and crank it out through center into Port Huron territory. Not quite far enough for Reising. Parsons back for it for the Prowlers. Drops it off on the right side to Vincent DeCumbus. Back to Parsons, and he looks at center ice. Long lead feed beyond everyone's reach. Puck down deep into the Indiana end, and Cunningham's there to get it. Cunningham to center red. 3 men strong, 3-on-3. Drops it off to Bormanis. His shot from the left wing circle wide of the net. Off the boards, Ross tries to keep it alive, but the Prowlers come away with the puck. And racing up the right wing side and being stood up as he cut in toward the Indiana net was Lockhart. Great work back defensively. By Indiana to stay right with him, Bormanis. Able to hustle back on the defensive end and tie up Lockhart. We've played 5 minutes, 28 seconds of period number one. Great start for the Sentinels. They lead the Prowlers 1-0 here on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
His entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
The first period of Indiana Sentinels hockey is brought to you by Sprague Hotel Developers. Face-off comes up in the right wing circle of the Indiana end. It'll be to the glove side of Chris Kerr. Christers Bormanis to take the face-off for Indiana. Against Port Huron's Alexander Ray, and it comes to Favaro, left point for Port Huron, firing one low to the ice right on net, and the stop is made by Kerr. He holds on to it. And that'll even up the shots on goal at 3 apiece. Chris Kerr, Alberta, Canada native, making some adjustments to his equipment as we get ready to resume play. And the draw will be in the near side of the Indiana end. Jonas Lease to take the face off. And you talk about guys who've been part of this Sentinels program since pretty much day one. Lease is one of them. He has played in 42 of Indiana's 46 games. Romeo Terrain has played in 44, and Ethan Esposito has played in 39. So those three have been the mainstays for the Sentinels since pretty much day one when we dropped the puck on the team's inaugural season in the FPHL back in October of this year. Now this is the final weekend at home. Prowlers up the right wing side, Indiana territory. Centering attempt by Luke Lackney from the far boards off target. Tomacek racing with it the other way back. Tomacek leaves it for Zinchenko. Backhands one from long range, wide of the Port Huron net. Sentinels after it on the right wing side. Zinchenko in deep, trying to center. Broken up, the play is by Timothy Organ. He tries to clear. Tomacek with a big hit on the right wing side. Enables Zinchenko to keep it in, and he launches one from the right wing side. Might have been heading wide of the net, but Port taking no chances. He will glove it and hang on to it, and that'll bring up a face-off in the Port Huron end. 6 minutes and 36 seconds gone here in period number one. Indiana getting the game's first goal. Dalton Anderson, his 7th overall on the season. Anderson started out the year in Biloxi, and with the Breakers played in 11 games, had 1 goal. Or 10 games rather with Biloxi, 1 goal in that stretch. Sentinels off the face-off. Peavy able to get to it. He had a hand in the first Indiana goal. Beautiful pass to set up Anderson in front of the net to put Indiana on top 1-0. And the Prowlers clear it through center. Snap from the Indiana blue line by Connor Bazal into Indiana territory. Millette giving chase. He and Seth Bacon coming together along the near wing. Millette up with the puck. Millette trying to center, put it in front of the net, and right there to clear it away. Bacon to get it out of danger. Kept in though, left wing side. Parsons, they score. Parsons a long shot and deflected from in front to tie the game. 7 minutes and 17 seconds into period number one. We'll see which of the Prowlers gets credited with that goal. The shot taken from the left wing side by defenseman Brett Parsons. He's played in 45 of the 47 Port Huron games to this point. And the Prowlers have evened it up on their 4th shot on goal of the night. And I think they're going to credit that goal to Connor Bazal in front. He and Millette were coasting in around the net. So Parsons assisting. Lockhart will get an assist also, and they will credit the goal to Connor Bazal. That's his 3rd of the season to tie the game. Prowlers shoot it down deep into the Indiana end. Decumbus playing it in deep along the right wing side. Sentinels able to get possession. Cleared by Cunningham out to center. And it's loose along the Indiana blue line. Play whistled down on a hand pass against the Prowlers. And so the faceoff is going to be brought back outside the Port Huron blue line with 12:17 remaining here in the first period. Last weekend at home for Indiana tomorrow night. Binghamton here at 7:30. And then Binghamton again Saturday night at 7:30. And if you come out to support the Sentinels tomorrow night, the first 250 fans through the gate here at the Hamilton Community Ice Arena will receive a Sentinels rally towel. That's tomorrow night, 7:30, here at the Hamilton Community Ice Arena. Sentinels with some pressure on the Prowlers end. Colarusso, center point, a shot save, rebound in front. Esposito couldn't quite get it teed up as he was in along the glove side, and then a penalty coming up against Port Huron. One of the Sentinels hauled down in the right wing corner, and here's a chance for Indiana on the Haas Insurance power play. It was Ethan Esposito who got yanked down right after he had that chance, trying to get that puck settled down. In deep along the glove hand side of Bork. So Esposito yanked to the ice by Port Huron's Timothy Organ back defensively, and Indiana will go to work on the Hawes Insurance power play. First chance for either team on the man advantage tonight. Indiana on the season, 31 power play goals and 235 power play opportunities, 13.2% conversion rate. Port Huron's penalty kill, 85.3 success rate on the penalty kill. They're giving up 37 goals and 251 times shorthanded. And as we return to play, the Prowlers shoot it directly up over the glass and out of play, and so that's going to be another penalty against Port Huron, as Bobby Price will get tagged with a delay of game call, wheeling that puck directly off the playing surface without touching glass or another player or the boards. So that's a delay of game call, and a great opportunity on the two-man advantage for Indiana. Cunningham, Zinchenko, and Hippolyte-Smith up front in this 5-on-3. They win the faceoff. Bormanis at the left point and Willett on the right. And playing catch is Cunningham and Bormanis on the left wing side. Cunningham with a puck now to Bormanis, down to the center point. Willett shoots and a stop made by Bork. Loose puck. Zinchenko keeps it alive. Zinchenko delivers to Noah Hippolyte-Smith out of the right wing corner. He'll hand the puck in deep to Cunningham. He goes back to Smith, who tries to connect with Cunningham. It's off his stick, but he taps it to Willett. Cole Willett skating at the center point, leaving it for Bormanis. Back to Willett, center point. Two-man advantage. Delivers to Hippolyte-Smith. Now to Bormanis, left wing circle. He shoots, and that's blocked. Play kept alive right wing side by Cunningham. Port Huron territory, steps into one. That shot blocked, and then the loose puck grabbed and cleared by the Prowlers, sent by Federley all the way back deep into the Indiana end. 58 seconds on the two-man advantage. Pass left wing to Zinchenko, cutting up the far wing, leaving the puck for a trailing Noah Hippolyte-Smith. He drops it off to the point to Phil Tomacek. He's been a great producer for Indiana since coming on board. Tomacek to Willett, back to Tomacek, tight angle shot, and that stop made by Bork. Loose puck, keeping it alive. Willett of Indiana shoots, deflected from in front and just wide by Cunningham. Now out of the right wing corner, Zinchenko with it. Taken to the boards by Parsons. They battle for it in the right wing corner. Dug free Cunningham, centers beyond the reach of Bormanis, open in front. And the Prowlers get to the puck. It'll be cleared by Artu Hikola out to center. Sentinels get it now, right wing Bormanis. 14 seconds on the two-man advantage. Knocked away from him, up with it is Jonas Lease at center. Lease to Peavy. 6 seconds on the two-man advantage, now 12 seconds overall on the power play time. Puck played to Peavy in behind the net. Peavy to Jonas Lease in the left wing circle, 5-on-4 now. He feeds Tomacek in deep. Centering attempt broken up. Tomacek continues to battle, but the Prowlers clear it. It comes to center. Penalty time over. Look out, hustling after it and getting an opportunity. In on Kerr is Bobby Price, and the stop made by Kerr. Prowlers now at even strength, getting a big lift, killing off that lengthy two-man advantage that Indiana had on the Hawes Insurance power play. Game tied at 1. 9:18 to go in the first period. Ucell in deep, hit by Panovanov. Willett out here trying to keep the play alive for Port Huron, but Esposito gets to it for Indiana, directs it to center ice to Maximus Merrick Tortorella, and he'll scoop it in deep into the Port Huron end. 9 minutes exactly to play in period number 1, tied at 1. Here is Reggie Millette stepping to center. Millette tied up from behind, puck bouncing free. Merrick Tortorella with it, one-arming that puck, getting a handle back on his stick after he'd lost control of it. He put it in front, and Esposito there taps it just wide of that Port Huron net. A good scoring chance there, set up by Merrick Tortorella for Esposito. Now Merrick Tortorella with it again at center for Indiana, gaining center edge, shooting it in deep in behind the Port Huron net. Prowlers after it, and starting out of his own territory with a good move at center ice is Alexander Ray, and on the backhand he clears it in deep into the Indiana end. Puck comes in behind the net. One of the Prowlers put himself into the boards. Indiana can't clear the Oregon a long shot. Bouncer that stick aside by Kerr. Puck in the near side of the Indiana end. Romeo Terrain trying to clear. Hippolyte-Smith also, and now finding the handle is Zinchenko. Works it out to Cunningham at center. Corey Cunningham trying to get it past Timothy Organ and get it in deep, but Organ knocks that puck away. And the Prowlers in possession of it with 7:50 to go here in period number 1. It's sent to center ice to Anderson, and he'll dump it out down deep into Indiana territory. Sentinels gain control. Willett to Bozinchenko. Headman pass. Esposito tries to settle it down. Does on right wing. Cuts toward the net. And just at the last second, Parsons in front, able to knock it away from him before he can get a good shot off. Now from long range, Bacon launching one on net that's off the stick of goaltender Jamison Bork and heads up over the glass and out of play. 7:28 remains in the first period of a 1-1 game at the Hamilton Community Ice Arena on the Indiana Sentinels Hockey Network.
Thank you so much, Greg, for being a part of it. These game-worn jerseys and the rest of the Sens jerseys will be available for silent auction.
Everett Thompson in behind the Indiana bench with some words for his troops as we get ready to head back to play with 7:28 remaining in the first period. Tomorrow night, Rally Towel Night. First 250 fans through the doors receive Sentinels rally towels, and we've got some exciting things in the works for Saturday as well. Jonas Lease game-worn jersey will be won by one lucky fan in a raffle. Every fan who enters the game will receive a ticket for the raffle. As we return to play, the Sentinels from the face-off outside the Port Huron line deal it toward the Prowler net. It'll be stopped and held onto by Bork. So every fan who comes in gets one chance to win, and additional raffle tickets will be available for purchase if you'd like to increase your odds to win that Jonas Lease game-worn jersey on Saturday. And the remainder of the team's game-worn jerseys will be available in silent auction. So go home with a great souvenir, perhaps on Saturday night in the final game of the year at home. Sentinels pressuring again, and the shot from the left wing side by Tomacek is stopped. Tomacek at almost a point per game since coming on board with Indiana. 3 goals, 5 assists, 8 points in 10 games. And he's provided this team a great spark since he's joined the lineup. Sentinels out shooting Port Huron 10-4 here in period 1. Long pass at center ice goes off the stick of Port Huron's Luke James, and over the boards and out of play, so they'll face it off outside the Indiana blue line with 6:45 remaining here in the first period. Indiana getting the game's first goal, 29 seconds in. Dalton Anderson from Blake Peavy. Connor Bazal ties it at 7:17 from Brian Parsons and Brett Lockhart. Bazal with his third goal of the season, and then for Dalton Anderson of Indiana, it was his 7th of the year and 6th in an Indiana uniform. He's coming on board early in the season after starting out the year with Biloxi. Prowlers now with a puck. Anderson left wing side of the Indiana end, putting one in front, comes all the way out to the blue line and trying to sneakishly hold it in was Federle, but the linesman said, "I'm not buying it," and he blows the whistle to whistle the Port Huron Prowlers for offside. Close play along the blue line, 6:09 to go. First period, Indiana 1, Port Huron 1. Last game of the year between these two teams, 15 games in all. And a great rivalry has emerged. Prowlers off the face-off have it. Favaro shoots it into the Indiana end, goes after it himself, puts it in front. Sentinels intercept. And Peavy using the glass, clears it to center. Bomanis after it. Also Colarusso, bouncing puck. He couldn't quite get the handle on that. And here come the Prowlers back on the move into Indiana territory. Pass for Ray, and he had it poked away from behind by Maximus Merrick Tortorella. Good work on the stick check by Merrick Tortorella. Peavy plays it to Tortorella now at center, trying to dance his way into the Port Huron end from the left wing side, but back defensively. Parsons does not let that happen, and he's got the puck now in behind his own net with 5:20 remaining in period number one. Prowlers get it to Millette at center ice. Leaves it for a trailing Jamie Bussell. Passing to center ice to James. He is double teamed. Whistle stop play as James and Willette got tangled up. And we're going to have a penalty issued here against Indiana, and it's going to be the first of the night on the Sentinels. Maximus Merrick Tortorella will go to the box, and Port Huron will get its first chance on the power play. So we've had only 3 minor penalties in the game so far. One of them for delay of game against Port Huron. And that followed the high sticking minor that came 8:07 in, the first penalty of the night to Port Huron's Timothy Organ. Now the Prowlers get their first chance on the power play. Indiana on the Powerade penalty kill, and a shot from the right wing side. Stop made by Kerr. You can hear that one bouncing off his pads as it was put his way by Millette from the right wing side, and the Sentinels clear the puck all the way back down deep into the Port Huron end. Prowlers through center, Lackney up left wing. Bombing it off on the near side for Tecumseh. Back to Lackney left wing boards. Lackney holding that puck, delivering it along the right wing side beyond the reach of Millette. He's got to go out to center ice to retrieve it. Feeds Lackney, stepping to the Indiana line. Now retreats back to center ice. Cross ice pass. Gathered in by Millette. Lee's pressuring him. Lackney, though, comes away with the puck 2-on-2 into the Sentinels' end. Lackney slowing down near side. Leaves it for Organ, left point. Now to Millette at the right point. Crisscrossing with Organ, handing the puck to Organ. He delivers lower edge right wing circle. Lackney shooting. Ponovanov blocks it in front of the net. And that'll enable the Sentinels to get to the puck terrain trying to clear, but the Prowlers keep it in. They get it to Millette. Rising shot from high out on the left wing side is gloved and held on to by Kerr. 54 seconds left on the power play opportunity for Port Huron. Their first of the game. So Indiana's Powerade penalty kill. So far, so good. 4:02 remains in the first period. Game tied at 1 here at the Hamilton Community Ice Arena on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
Vitamin water helps keep me hydrated. Encore. After encore. After encore. Next thing you know, it felt just like this. Come on. Vitamin water from New York.
She's calling me, like the rainbow, She's calling me, like the rainbow,
Indiana on a Powerade penalty kill for another 54 seconds at 14:51 of the first. Maximus Merrick Tortorella went off for slashing. First penalty of the game against Indiana. Prowlers were penalized twice so far here in the first. High sticking minor against Timothy Organ at 8:07, followed up by a delay of game minor against Bobby Price at 8:15. Port Huron's power play converting at a rate of 15.6%. It's been a weak spot for this team this year. Prowlers Favaro with it from the left wing side, shooting one and deflected wide of the net. Stationed in front, Bussell going for the redirect. Sentinels over the puck. Here comes Zinchenko, 1-on-2 through center. Short-handed, he's spun around and pulled down, and a penalty will be called against Port Huron. Teams will be at even strength for 31 seconds, and then Indiana will get another chance on the man advantage. So Port Huron, despite their strong record in their second place positioning in the Empire Division, their special teams, the power play has not been strong this year. 41 goals on 263 opportunities for a conversion rate of 15.6%. Indiana's penalty kill successful 77.6% of the time. And the face-off, puck played from the Prowlers end out to center. Roulette with it. Indiana on the power play in 19 seconds. Puck in deep, Port Huron territory. So the Sentinels do the job on the Powerade penalty kill. And see if they can get the power play on track here. Late in the first. Prowlers up the right wing, James. Rolls it in behind the Indiana net. Colarusso after it. He's hit by Bazal on the right wing side. Roulette, though, able to come away with the puck as it comes loose. And Cunningham handles it now. Penalty over. Indiana on the Haas Insurance power play. Cunningham to Peavy left wing. Back to Cunningham in the left wing corner. He taps it into the right wing corner to Christers Bormanis. And now Bormanis trying to get it in behind the net. With the Prowlers come away with the puck, it'll be cleared all the way up through center by Parsons deep into Indiana territory. Down now to 1 minute exactly to go on the power play chance. Bormanis delivers to Cunningham on left wing. Cunningham tried to sneak it through to Peavy, moving toward the net with the Prowlers intercept, and they clear it back into Indiana territory. Padovanov takes over. 46 seconds to go on the man advantage. 2:23 left in the first period. Padovanov gets it ahead at center ice to Zinchenko up left wing. Bo cuts in deep. Indiana's leading goal scorer. Delivers to Colarusso. Off now to Padovanov. Left point is shot blocked. In deep behind the net. Handling it is Zinchenko. Out to Colarusso at the right point. He looks toward the net. Holds that puck. Drops it off to Padovanov. Ivan cross-ice pass to Zinchenko. Shot right on the stop. Made by Bork, the rookie goaltender. Tested there. Puck in the right wing corner. Sentinels. Center. It comes to Padovanov at the point. Now to Colarusso. Back to Padovanov. Shoots one, and that's high and wide of the net. Puck off the boards, kept alive by Zinchenko. Steps into one from the right wing circle, and that hits a stick on the way to the net, and Karam's up over the glass and out of play. That'll stop the clock with 2 seconds to go on the Haas Insurance power play opportunity, and this is where the face-off becomes important. If the Sentinels can win it, even though there's just 2 seconds left in the power play opportunity, they could create a chance or two before the penalized player, Favaro, is able to get out of the box and back into the play. And the Sentinels roll it toward the net off the face-off. It'll come to Port Huron's Bucell on the right wing side. And Favaro's out of the box, and the teams are now at even strength. So Indiana is 0 for 3 on the power play here in period number 1. And that included some overlapping time on the 2-man advantage on their first series of opportunities that they had. Port Huron 0 for 1 on the power play. Reggie Millette with it at center. Leaves it back in his own end for Brian Parsons. Defenseman for the Prowlers. Parsons, veteran player, been around the league a while. Parsons gets it toward the front of the net beyond the reach of an incoming Millette. Couldn't settle that pass down, and the Sentinels have a terrain. Unable to clear. Prowlers get it toward the front of the net. Millette there, but right on the doorstep. Lease able to break the play up. Millette still after the puck. Has it on the left wing side. Leaves it for Lockhart at the left point, and he'll deal it in deep in behind the Indiana goal. Sentinels in the final minute of play here, trying to hold on as the Prowlers with some pressure on. Shot from in front of the net. Karam tying wide of the goal. Right in front of the net, able to get that chance on net. Artur Hikola with 13 on the season. Off some scrambly action in the Indiana end. And the puck out of play, and the clock stops with 30 seconds to go. Here in period number 1, and the face-off will be in the right wing circle of the Indiana end. Ray for Port Huron, Bormanis of Indiana. Glove side of Kerr. They tie one another up off the draw. Still the scramble continues. Worked free by Willette. Pokes it out to center ice. Zinchenko hustling after it. And now Tomacek able to handle it to Bormanis. Trying to go back to Zinchenko in front. Broken up. Colarusso keeps it alive. His shot blocked by Lackney. And the Prowlers come away with possession, and they'll get it now quickly to the right wing side to an open man. That is Organist. Shot stop made by Kerr. And time will run out here in period number 1. And the Sentinels fans have come out in this first game of the Fan Appreciation Weekend, showing their appreciation for the effort that this team has put forth in period number 1. Engaged in a 1-1 contest with their rivals from the Empire Division, the Port Huron Prowlers. And certainly that rival tag could go on a number of teams, and Topeka, who was just in here this past weekend, fits into that category. And Port Huron as well. The Indiana-Port Huron rivalry concludes tonight. The Indiana-Topeka rivalry will continue for 5 more games this year. But first things first, Port Huron here tonight. And Indiana putting forth a very strong first period of play. The first period of Sentinels hockey is brought to you by Sprague Hotel Developers. And the Sentinels in the first period generated 11 shots on goal on the Prowlers. And 2 of the last 3 games for Indiana, they've given up the game's first goal in the first half minute of play. It happened against Topeka on Friday night. And then again on Sunday afternoon, Topeka scoring 16 seconds in on Friday and then 11 seconds in on Sunday. And so the Sentinels not only wanting to avoid that here tonight, but take it one better, and they did, getting the game's first goal 29 seconds in. And great work by Blake Peavy up front on the right wing side. Peavy, Indiana's team captain, as the Sentinels have dealt it into Topeka territory from the faceoff. And Topeka pressing Peavy into a defensive role in the games against Topeka over this past weekend with the suspension of Seth Bacon. He was out of the lineup on Sunday afternoon and ejected from the game on Saturday night for leaving the bench for an altercation. The 1-game suspension left the Sentinels shorthanded, and that meant Peavy had to drop from his natural position up front to the back line defensively. But Peavy returning to the lineup tonight means that, or Bacon returning to the lineup tonight from the suspension means that Peavy can move back up front. And Peavy, a St. Petersburg, Florida native, pro status on the roster, played collegiately at Finlandia University, NCAA Division III. From 2017 through 2020 was that university's assistant captain, and then he embarked on his FPHL career that started in Elmira in the 2021 campaign. Spent some time with Elmira, Carolina in the 21-22 and 22-23 seasons. And then back to Elmira in the 23-24 campaign after skating very briefly with Baton Rouge that year. Peavy's totals coming into the year, 193 games played in the Federal Prospect Hockey League. 38 goals, 58 assists, 96 points, 144 minutes in penalty time. And brought in here by head coach Everett Thompson 14 games ago to give the Sentinels some leadership and some veteran experience up front. And Peavy, who can play defense, but is naturally a forward, played defensively on Sunday and a lot of Saturday, but back up front here tonight. Sets up the game's first goal. Peavy getting the puck in front of the net to Dalton Anderson, and the goal by Anderson is 29 seconds into period number 1. Anderson with some veteran experience as well, 5'9", 187-pounder out of Ontario. Played collegiately at Adrian College, NCAA Division III. 2 national championship appearances for him during his collegiate years. And had been playing with Biloxi this year, 10 games with the Breakers before being acquired by the Sentinels. Spent his entire year with Biloxi last season. And some pretty decent numbers, 18 goals, 9 assists, 27 points. Mississippi the year before, and also Port Huron briefly for Anderson in 23-24. 22-23. Spent most of the season in Elmira, 16 goals in 49 games, and began his FPHL pro career in Columbus in the 21-22 campaign, 14 goals in 48 games. And Dalton Anderson, set up by Blake Peavy. Anderson getting his 7th goal overall on the season, his 6th in an Indiana uniform, to put the Sentinels on top 1-0. And that goal got the fans into it tonight. Earlier start than normal, so folks having to bear in mind the 6:30 face-off to get here early, and those who were here early and on time, glad they were, because Indiana scores 29 seconds in for the 1-0 lead. The Prowlers tie it at 7:17. Goal-getter Connor Bazal, his 3rd of the year, deflecting in a shot from Brian Parsons. Also assisting on it, Brett Lockhart. And that evened the game at 1-1. Both goals were even-strength goals in the first period. Shots in period number 1, 11 for Indiana, 10 for Port Huron. The Sentinels were out shooting the Prowlers by a pretty wide margin early on, but Port Huron with some pressure toward the latter stages of period number 1. And they're within 1 in the shot count, 11-10 in favor of Indiana after 1. And penalties in the first period, 6 minutes in penalty time to Port Huron, 2 minutes in penalty time to Indiana. And the Sentinels did have a great opportunity on a 2-man advantage and some lengthy time with it, when at 8:07, Topeka's Timothy Organ was sent off for high sticking. And just 8 seconds later, a delay of game minor whistled against Bobby Price. So that created a 2-man advantage of 1 minute and 52 seconds, and the Prowlers were able to successfully shut down the Sentinels' challenge on that Haas Insurance power play. And Indiana, the only time they've been called upon shorthanded in period number 1, they were able to kill the penalty, a slashing minor that was called against Maximus Merrick Tortorella at 14:51. So Indiana killing off the one-time shorthanded that they've had to in period number 1, and 0 for 3 on the power play in period number 1. So 20 minutes complete in this final weekend of hockey here in central Indiana at the Hamilton Community Ice Arena. 3 games left here in this building before the team heads on the road for 2 in neutral site action this following weekend in Thief River Falls, Minnesota, and then embarking on a 5-game road trip after that to conclude the year. So they're trying to get this weekend off to a good start here tonight. They know their hands will be full with Binghamton coming in tomorrow night with the by far best record overall in the league. It'll be the one and only appearance that the Binghamton Black Bears will have made in this building this year when they come in on Friday and Saturday night. But so far for the Sentinels, 1-1 against Port Huron, a team that they've seen a ton of this year. And we'll see if the Sentinels can close out the season series on a winning note. The first period of Sentinels hockey has been brought to you by Sprague Hotel Developers. We'll be back with the start of the second in just a bit from the Hamilton Community Ice Arena, 1-1 Indiana and Port Huron on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
It's calling me like the rainbow. It's calling me like the rainbow. The rainbow.
his entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
What's in your decision to donate blood? More than you know. One donation can save lives and fuel research to save many more. A few moments of your time sparks moments like these. And these. Hope cures, empowers, and strengthens us. Hope is in all the moments that matter. And it's in all of us. Versity Blood Centers. Hope. It's in our blood.
This is the final weekend of hockey at home for the Indiana Sentinels. The year's gone by fast. Hard to believe it's been since October when we first dropped the puck on the inaugural season for the Sentinels and the FPHL, and here we are in the final weekend at home. Last chance to see the team on this ice this year, and if you're able to make it out to the Hamilton Community Ice Arena tomorrow or Saturday, the Sentinels do have some exciting things in store. Tomorrow night is Sentinels Rally Towel Night. The first 250 fans through the doors will receive a Sentinels Rally Towel. And then on Saturday night, the jerseys that the team has worn throughout their entire home portion of the schedule will be available. And Jonas Lee's jersey will go home to one lucky fan as a result of a raffle that will take place. Every fan who enters the arena on Saturday night will get a raffle ticket and one chance to win. And if you'd like to increase your odds, there will be additional raffle tickets available for sale for the Jonas Lease game-worn jersey on Saturday night. And then the remainder of the Sentinels jerseys will be available to the fans through silent auction, and that is on Saturday night. So Rally Towel Night tomorrow night, and then the jerseys on Saturday in the final two games at home for Indiana. in their inaugural year in the FPHL. The Sentinels would like to remind everyone that the early bird season ticket sale is in effect now through May 1st, and you can secure season tickets to all 28 home games next year with the additional exclusive season ticket holder perks. All of that for $300. That's a savings of $120 off the full season ticket price. And half-season ticket plans are also available. $150 will get you the half-season plan for 14 games, and that is a savings of $60 off the half-season price. And that's the early bird ticket sale going on now through May 1st. So tomorrow and Saturday, 7:30 Eastern time for Indiana against the Binghamton Black Bears, and it'll be fun to see the Black Bears come in just based on the success that they've had this year and what they've shown they're capable of. 48 games played, 38 regular season wins, regulation time wins throughout the season thus far. 5 regulation time losses, 2 overtime losses, no overtime wins, 3 shootout wins, and 122 points for them. And that's 12 more than Athens, who, should the Black Bears surprisingly hit a slump and Athens surges, and Athens has certainly been doing that, winning 8 straight, they could conceivably overcome Binghamton for the top spot throughout the stretch run here this season. Athens has been surging, winning 8 in a row, but Binghamton has shown no signs of letting up, having won 4 straight and 9-0-1 in their last 10. So 7:30 Eastern time for the face-off, 7:15 airtime for the Sentinels Body Armor pregame show, and that'll be tomorrow night and Saturday night against Binghamton. And glad you were able to join us here tonight, wherever you may be on board for Sentinels hockey. The second period is brought to you by Coca-Cola. I'm Jim Mirabello here at the Hamilton Community Ice Arena. And on the strength of a Dalton Anderson goal set up by Blake Peavy, 29 seconds into the game, the Sentinels took a 1-0 lead. The Prowlers tied it at 7:17. Goal-getter Connor Bazal, his 3rd of the year. Assists going to Brian Parsons and Brett Lockhart to even this game at 1. And the FPHL out-of-town scoreboard, this is the only game going on around the league tonight, so a captive audience for FPHL fans tuning in. The Sentinels and the Port Huron Prowlers, the only game going on tonight. Elsewhere tomorrow, Topeka will be at Port Huron. The Prowlers will get on the bus right after the game and head back and get ready to battle Topeka tomorrow night on their home ice. PD Ice Cats hosting Monroe. Baton Rouge Zydeco in Blue Ridge. Danbury Hat-Tricks visiting Watertown. And the Biloxi Breakers will be in Twin City, and that is what is on the agenda for tomorrow night. In addition to the game between the Sentinels and the Binghamton Black Bears. Team switch ends, and we face it off at center ice to start period number 2. Chris Kerr defending the end of the rink down to our right. And the rookie Jamison Bork in his first pro start is in goal down to our left. And the Prowlers with some pressure on in the Port Huron in the Indiana end to start the second, and a long shot by Parsons from the left point, sails wide of the net. Puck out to center, Federley handling it, directs it back to Parsons, his defense partner back in his own end. And he hands it back to Federley, who tosses back to Parsons, looking up ice and delivering back to Federley. The team captain rips a long-range shot. I'm not sure what he was thinking there. Well, he did that intentionally and no icing because Millette was the first one there to generate some opportunity for Port Huron off the far boards. They get it toward the front of the net, and shot stopped by Kerr on the opportunity that developed for Luke James from in tight. And the faceoff will be in the Indiana end. Backing up tonight for Indiana is Cooper Olson. rookie goaltender who made his first start in an Indiana uniform on Sunday afternoon. Olsen, a product of Purdue University Northwest. And he is on the bench in the backup capacity. Prowlers right from the faceoff, get it in front of the net, and the stop made by Kerr, and then the rough stuff starts as Kerr was pressured in front as he went down to block the shot. Players grabbing a hold of one another, and now one of the Prowlers has dropped a glove in deep as he's in a tussle with Jonas Lease. They're jawing at one another. Things in front of the net settle down. Lease having some words with one of the alternate captains of the Prowlers, who's going to head off to the penalty box. That's Nicholas Favaro. So the Sentinels converging to the defense of their starting goaltender, Chris Kerr. And 55 seconds in, Lease is going to go to the Indiana penalty box. Favaro sits down for Port Huron. And it looks like it's going to be coincidental minors. So the last time these two teams met in this building, they compiled 106 minutes in penalty time between them. 51 to Fort Huron, 55 for Indiana. And this looks like it's going to be coincidental minors to Jonas Lease of the Sentinels and Nicholas Favaro of Port Huron. They'll each sit down for 2 minutes. Prowlers from the faceoff, having a drive by Lockhart from the right wing side, on the stop is made by Kerr. Got the glove down and holds on to that. So coincidental minor penalties to Lease of Indiana. And correction, it is Kikala for, well, I think that is going to be Favaro in the box for Port Huron. They've got Hikala's number on the board. Clarify that as soon as we get a chance here. It is going to be Hikala in the box. And each team shorthanded by a man as we return to play. And the face-off in the Indiana end. Sentinels with it, and they start to break out. Colarusso carrying the puck, rink wide feet, and a good one. With it is Hibboleth Smith, putting it in front, and Zinchenko tips it just wide from right on the doorstep. A good chance there, and he doesn't miss too many of those. Colarusso with it now on the left wing side. Spins one on the backhand toward the net. That goes off the side of the goal, and reaching down to cover it is the goaltender, Jamison Bork. To stop play, 1:34 seconds into period 2. 38 seconds elapsing off the minor penalties. And the face-off will take place in the Port Huron end. So Chris Kerr starting tonight for Indiana. And he's got a respectable goals against average and save percentage, 3.46 in the goals against average department. Save percentage at .904. And Kerr's been in net for 3 wins for the Sentinels this season. Sentinels Tomchak applying some pressure along the boards off the face-off as we return to play, but Favaro comes away with the puck and works it out at center ice, where it'll be shot in deep into Indiana territory. And that is actually Vincent DeCumbus in the penalty box for Port Huron. DeCumbus in the box on the 2-minute minor, along with Jonas Lease. 55 seconds into the second. Puck cleared by the Sentinels all the way down deep into the Port Huron end, and this will go in as an icing call against Indiana. And they'll bring that puck back deep into Sentinels territory for the face-off. So 8 minutes in penalty time to Port Huron so far tonight. 4 for Indiana. Sentinels 0 for 3 on the power play. Port Huron 0 for 1 on the man advantage. Shots on goal, Port Huron with 13. Indiana with 12. Game tied at 1. Anderson scoring for Indiana. And Bizal scoring for Port Huron. Sentinels from the face-off in their own end have the puck. Panavano leaves it for Romeo Terrain, far side of his own end. Outlets to Christers Bormanis, crossing center red up the right wing side. Bormanis upended by Federley, who put the hip into him and sent Bormanis cartwheeling through the air. Puck carried now by Prince through center into the Indiana end. Bobby Price, rather, that is left wing side, is shot wide of the Indiana net. Puck bouncing off the boards in deep. Panavano kicking it ahead with his skates, trying to get it through to Peavy. Prowlers knocked that away, but now the Sentinels regain control. Peavy deep in his own territory, delivers to Bormanis. And they'll drop it back in behind the net where Cole Willett handles the puck. Here's Willett, one of the Sentinels trying to poke check it away, lost the handle on his stick. Minor penalties are over, and each team is back to full strength. With 16:51 remaining in the second period of a 1-1 game. And for the Prowlers, Federley in his own territory. Leaving it for Parsons, back to Federley. See if they'll do this again. They will. Just hammer at the length of the ice. This one on net. Stick stop made by Kerr. He wasn't fooled at all there. And the Sentinels clear it out to center ice. James with it now for Port Huron. Playing it back into his own end to Austin Federley. Standing along the blue line. Just holding that puck at his own end. The Sentinels have them really confused with this neutral zone stack that they're using right now, and the Prowlers Millette in his own end, handing it to Federley in the near circle. Plays catch on the far side with Lockhart. Back to Federley. Tortorella and Zinchenko standing along the area between center red and the Port Huron blue line, and the Prowlers just drive it through center. Deep into the Indiana end again. Millette after it hit by Potamonov. Millette battling on all the boards, and that'll enable Hippolyte Smith to come away with the puck. Tried to clear. Kept in, left wing side, long shot, save made, rebound bouncing around in the slot area. And with it now, Bucell. There's a long shot by Organ. Hit on the way to the, blocked on the way to the net, and Bucell with a chance, couldn't quite get it teed up. Bucell with it again, left wing side of the Indiana end to Organ, long shot deflects, and that went off the skate of Cole Willett. Indiana defenseman and wide of the Sentinels' goal. Puck free along the right wing boards. Prowlers trying to center. Hippolyte Smith back. Tying up to Cumbus. Prowlers continuing to pressure. They work it to Lockhart at the right point. Cross ice pass to Lackney, and he'll dump it in even behind the Indiana goal. Well, out after it, but hustling in there to get to it is Dylan Marty. Tried to center, lost the handle on it. And that'll enable Willett to clear ahead to Zinchenko. And here's Zinchenko with hustling back to disrupt him, Timothy Organ. And Zinchenko almost generated a chance there, but gives some credit to Organ to get back. Here are the Prowlers now up the right wing side. Tortorella hits Port Huron's Bazal as he dumps it in deep behind the net. Sentinels come away with it, and they clear it to center. After it, Tortorella, poke checked away from him. Free along the blue line. Tortorella keeps it alive. Throws it in behind that Port Huron net. First one there, Favaro. And he'll get it over to the near wing where it'll be nudged out to center by Heikkila and back into Indiana territory. 14:19 to go. Second period, game tied at 1. Both goals in period number 1. Prowlers pressuring, stepping toward the front of the net, trying to jam one home. Ray stopped by Kerr, and the Sentinels with it, and they counterattack. Esposito, right wing cuts in deep, leaving the puck for a trailing Cunningham, and he overskates. Free along the right wing side, kept alive by Bormanis. Wanting a line change, or Anderson that is, he'll head over to the Indiana bench as the Prowlers clear the puck back into Indiana territory. Ross over to Romeo Terrain. They'll play it to Esposito at center, directing it down deep into the Port Huron end. 13:45 remaining in the second. Lease on the forecheck, able to come up with the puck, puts it in front, bouncing in the high slot. Sentinels keep it alive. Colarusso over to the right wing boards to Lease, and he steers it back in behind the Prowler net. Federley taking over. Clearing it along the near wing, kept in by Terrain. Didn't get good wood on it, though, as he tried to play it in deep, and Lockhart comes away with the puck and shoots it down deep into Indiana territory. Sentinels clear it out through center, and this will carry him deep into the Port Huron end and result in an icing call against the Sentinels with 13:13 to go here in period number 2 at the Hamilton Community Ice Arena. Indiana and Port Huron are locked in a good battle here tonight. Some words are being exchanged at center ice now between Jonas Lease of Indiana and Brian Parsons of Port Huron. And they'll separate, and the teams will head to their respective benches, and we'll take timeout. 13:13 to go. Second period, Indiana 1, Port Huron 1 on the Indiana Sentinels Hockey Network. The second period of Indiana Sentinels hockey is brought to you by Coca-Cola. Indiana and Port Huron even at 1. And the face-off will come up in Indiana territory following the icing call. Jonas Leaf set to take it. In the right wing circle. And Lease against Jamie Bussell on the face-off, and Indiana's able to control, and they clear it out to center ice. Prowlers after it, quickly into the Indiana end on the left wing side is Luke James, tied up along the far boards. Over there battling Jonas Lease of Indiana, puck rolling free. Tomacek along the high slot area, defensively able to get a handle on it and play it across to Colarusso, and now to Tomacek into the Port Huron end. Dropping it off on the right wing side, but unable to get it to Peavy, the intended recipient of that, and the Prowlers come away with the puck. Millette up left wing, bearing in tight, putting it in front of the net, and it's shot just wide from in front by Bussell. A grade A chance there for the Prowlers to try and claim their first lead. And the puck cleared by the Sentinels out through center and back into Port Huron territory. All even at 1. Puck in deep, near side Port Huron end. Attempting to clear. Lockhart, pressured by Bormanis. Lockhart able to get the puck to Parsons, back to Lockhart in his own end, and now to Parsons again. And here are the Prowlers just holding things up in their own end. Now they'll try and get a long breakout pass that's off target through center into the Sentinels end. Karam off the boards from the front of the net, stopped by Kerr, and then a big battle in the right corner. Hanamonov getting into it in the near corner with Connor Bazal. And they are really going at one another. Bazal's helmet off, and Hanamonov hammers away with a couple of lefts. Bazal trying to counter with some rights. What a bout between Hanamonov and Bazal. Tying one another up now, and the linesman will step in. Well, that draws a big rise from this crowd here at the Hamilton Community Ice Arena as Ivan Hanamonov dukes it out. And that's Anderson, I beg your pardon, number 94 as opposed to number who we first thought in the right wing corner. Blake Anderson with 99 minutes in penalty time on the season, 5'10", 175-pounder. And Ivan Panovanov gave him all he could handle. And a great bout there, Panovanov able to land a couple of lefts in that exchange. And Panovanov sits down. Anderson does also. Ivan Panovanov, 6'1", 198-pounder. Out of Orenburg, Russia. Pro status on the roster. Also spent some time playing hockey professionally in Turkey. And last year was with Poughkeepsie in the FPHL. 46 games with them. Was 20 minutes in penalty time in Poughkeepsie last year. And Panovanov with 41 minutes in penalty time coming into tonight. Anderson, 5'10", 175-pounder with 99 minutes in penalty time. And those are the first majors of the game tonight. Prowlers off the face-off, have it in their own end. And again, they're stymied on the breakout. Cunningham coming in, trying to force a turnover. Ray settles it down and directs it back, where it'll be handled by Port Huron's Federley, and Federley cranks it long through center, hustling after it and getting to it on the back check and clearing it ahead for Indiana's Noah Hippolyte-Smith to center ice. Cunningham able to get a piece of it at center to play it back into the Port Huron end. Sentinels 1, Prowlers 1 here in the second period as things start to heat up. Ray with a long shot from outside the Indiana blue line. That'll be stopped and held onto by Kerr as heated words continue in front of the Indiana net. Right in front of starting goaltender Chris Kerr, who's now faced 20 shots on goal. Indiana generating 18 on young rookie goaltender Jamison Bork making his first pro start tonight. And a lot of them came early in period number 1. The Prowlers have done a much better job protecting their young goaltender here as the game has gone along. And the Sentinels from the face-off. Colarusso trying to play it out. Bounces free, left wing boards. Colarusso with a handle on it. Works it ahead to Tomacek, and he backhands it out to center ice. And the Prowlers regroup there for Varro. Well, to Lackney. Going it back into the far circle of his own end to Parsons, who hands back to Favaro. And he'll skate with it slowly toward his own blue line. Work it to Millette at center. And he gets a stick on it to knock it in deep and behind the Indiana net. Giving chase, Romeo Terrain for Indiana trying to clear. Puck bouncing free. Tomacek trying to work it out of the defensive end. Pinned to the boards along the far side by Jamie Bussell. Millette after the puck also. Now Zinchenko there, and he'll backhand it out through center and back into the Port Huron end. Exactly now halfway home in this game. And on goals exchanged in the first, it's 1-1. Sentinels Zinchenko ahead to Bormanis, left wing, a shot and a stick save is made by Bork. One of the few times we've called his name here in the second period. And he's able to direct it off that big goaltender's stick blade and up over the glass and out of play. With 9:50 remaining here in period number 2. So a great battle tonight between Indiana and Port Huron. Second period action from the Hamilton Community Ice Arena. 9:50 to go in it on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
What's in your decision to donate blood? More than you know. One donation can save lives and fuel research to save many more. A few moments of your time sparks moments like these. And these. Hope cures, empowers, and strengthens us. Hope is in all the moments that matter. And it's in all of us. Versity Blood Centers. Hope. It's in our blood.
Fighting measures were issued to Ivan Ponomarev of Indiana and Blake Anderson of Port Huron at 8:10 of the second period, so both men remain in their respective penalty boxes. Face-off comes up in the left wing circle of the Port Huron end. Noah Hivlett-Smith against Reggie Millette, and the Prowlers come away with possession off the face-off. Puck cleared to center ice by Lockhart. Grabbing it is Ross for Indiana. Feeding right wing, chasing after it, Esposito. Hivlett-Smith cuts to the net. Esposito double teamed on the right wing boards. Puck loose. Hivlett-Smith joining him now in the battle behind the goal. And it squirts free, picked up by Lockhart. Over to Millette, far side of his own end. Brings it out to center on the backhand. Feeds James racing down the right wing side. James a tight angle shot on the stop made by Kerr as Indiana's Jonas Lease hustled to get Ross hustled to get back in the play, and Ross works it out to Phil Tomacek at center, and he'll wheel it on the backhand down deep into the Port Huron end. 9 minutes to go here in the second, game tied at 1. Prowlers pass ahead, Federley put it off the body of his own man, Millette. Lease up with the puck now for Indiana, in front, they score! Lease in front to Corey Cunningham, and Indiana has taken a 2-1 lead. Corey Cunningham playing in his 6th game in a Sentinels uniform since coming on board, and he gets his 2nd goal with Indiana. And overall is 10th on the season. Starting out the year with Monroe. And Cunningham, a big acquisition for Indiana, cashes in here with 8:50 to go in the second period, and the Sentinels are back on top 2-1. So Corey Cunningham with a goal is 10th of the season. Spent some time with Monroe and Twin City before coming on board with Indiana. Big acquisition for this team. And Cunningham's goal gives the Sentinels a 2-1 lead. And the Prowlers get the puck down deep into the Indiana end. Jonas Lease will get an assist on that goal. He had a big hand in it. The go-ahead goal scored by Cunningham. Lease assisting, and Bo Zinchenko will assist as well. Cunningham at 11:10 of the second to give the Sentinels a 2-1 lead. Prowlers guilty of icing. Faceoff comes up deep left wing side of the Port Huron end. Lease able to win it to Cunningham from the edge of the near circle. His shot blocked. Cunningham with it again off the boards. Cunningham from a tight angle on the left wing side. A shot sticked out by Bork. Play kept alive by Zinchenko. Tried to go to Ouellette, but the Prowlers break that up. Puck to center. Ouellette with it. Wristed down deep into the Port Huron end. 8:06 to go here in the second. Errant pass by the Prowlers through center, and that'll be an icing call against Port Huron. And with 8:02 to go in the second, the face-off will be in Prowler territory. Indiana now with 15 shots on goal. Port Huron with 21. And it's been a lot of fun watching Jonas Lease throughout the course of the season. One of 3 players who've been here pretty much since the get-go for Indiana. Romeo Terrain has played in 44 of the 46 Sentinels games. Jonas Lease, 42. Ethan Esposito also a mainstay with 39. And the Prowlers come away with the puck from the faceoff. They get it ahead on the right wing side, stepping in through the right circle and putting it on net is Dylan Marty. And a stop made by Chris Kerr, and he'll hang on to that. Kerr showing a lot of poise and calm presence in net here tonight for Indiana. Through the 22 shots on goal that he has faced now, with 7:52 to go in the second period. Against this Port Huron team, they have scored 156 goals through their 47 games this season. A plus 32. In comparison to their goals against, they've surrendered 124 coming in. Kerr makes another stop as the Prowlers win the faceoff and get it back to Lockhart, who risks one from long range. And Kerr right with that, and they'll face it off again in Indiana territory. And this draw will be to Kerr's glove side. Noah Hippolyte-Smith for Indiana against Ray, and the Sentinels clear it out to center. Indiana leading it 2-1. Hippolyte-Smith going after the puck at center, able to work it across the Prowler blue line. Hikela gets to it, chips it out to center. Ouellette with it at center, dumps it right back into the Port Huron end. Sentinels leading it 2-1 on goals by Dalton Anderson and Corey Cunningham. Puck loose near the Port Huron line. Hippolyte-Smith directs it in deep. Brett Lockhart with it off the boards. Sends it to Lackney, and he'll shoot it into the Indiana end, rolling slowly toward the net. Kerr stepping out to clear it away from the goal. Over to the near side, Indiana territory. Prowlers hustling after it. They work it back to the left point to Lockhart, and he'll swing it in deep in behind the Indiana goal. 6:55 to go here in the second as the Sentinels. Cunningham brings it to center. Launches one from long range through the air, coming down and then gloved and held onto by Bork. New Hampshire native, first pro start. Played in only about 40 minutes of relief time all year for Port Huron. Bailey Huber is on the bench in the backup capacity tonight. And Reed Cooper, who's been their juggernaut in net, is not in the lineup tonight. They are resting him up for a weekend series that they have coming up in their building against Topeka. Face off left wing circle to Bork's stick side. And the Prowlers come away with it off the draw, and they start to center. Poked ahead by James in deep into the far corner, Indiana end. Colarusso giving chase along the left wing side. Colarusso ties his man up along the boards. That is Luke James. Prowlers free the puck up, though. Back to Favaro, right point. Long shot goes wide of the net. Puck rolling into the right wing corner, Indiana territory. Reggie Millette after it, has it now off the right wing boards. Millette looking to center, got it back now to Favaro. Long shot, blocker to side by Kerr. Chris Kerr out with a blocker on that rising shot. Able to make the stop. Prowlers continue to pressure Indiana end. They get it back to the left point. Handling it there and shooting it deep is Timothy Organ in behind the Indiana goal. Ormanis back, tying his man up, and he comes away with a puck from behind the net. Outlets to Anderson, who clears on the backhand through center into Port Huron territory. Esposito giving chase, but with a step on that is Favaro. Deals it ahead up the right wing side to Blake Anderson. Cutting into the Indiana end, is shot, and the stop made. Colarusso clears the loose puck from in front of the net, and then Lees gets control and snaps it through center, deep into the Port Huron end, and this will be an icing call against Indiana with 5:31 remaining in the second period. The only goal of the second belongs to Indiana. At 11:10, Corey Cunningham cashing in from Jonas Lees and Bo Zinchenko. And it has the Sentinels on top 2-1. Indiana trying to break into the double digits in the regulation time win column here tonight. They've got 9 regulation time wins, 2 overtime wins to their credit on the season. And the Prowlers from the face-off have the puck in Indiana territory. They get it in front of the net, and a big stop is made by Kerr on a great chance for Bobby Price, who's got 21 on the year. And Kerr able to deny him. So Chris Kerr having a very strong night in net tonight for Indiana. Stopping 24 of 25 shots fired his way. 5:16 to go. Second period. And the Prowlers not only resting their primary goaltender, Reed Cooper, tonight, Matt Graham, who is the player head coach and the team leader in assists and points. He's not in the lineup tonight. He is on the bench in a coaching capacity only here tonight. And their penalty minute leader, Ben Brockway, out of the lineup tonight as well. The Prowlers still with plenty of muscle and firepower, despite those players being out of the lineup tonight. 4 players in their lineup with over 100 minutes in penalty time coming into tonight. 2 others right on the doorstep. Blake Anderson with 99, Jamie Bussell with 95. Brockway out of the lineup with 189 minutes. Parsons with 185. Reggie Millette with 102. Matt Graham 102. So 4 of their 6 penalty minute leaders not in the lineup tonight. But a very balanced scoring attack as well for the Prowlers. 7 players with 10 goals or more for them. So they are a force to be reckoned with. And Indiana certainly has been doing that here tonight. Now we've got a penalty coming up, and it's going to be against Port Huron, and Indiana's got to get a chance on the Haas Insurance power play. Nicholas Favaro is whistled off with 4:22 remaining in the second period, and here's a chance on the Haas Insurance power play. The Sentinels have not had a power play chance since period number 1. We'll see what they can do with their first opportunity here in the second. Back for that after this. Sentinels 2, Prowlers 1 on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
His entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
Indiana about to go to work on the power play. And it'll be an interference call against Nicholas Favaro. Sentinels win the face-off on the Prowler end. Back to Panavon over the point. Over now to Zinchenko. Off to the side of the goal to Blake Peavy. Peavy delivers back to Panavon left point. Over to Colarusso on the right point. Stepping in along the boards and delivering Panavonov. Skating through the left point area over to the near boards. Reverses, feeds back to Colarusso. In from the right point. Handing the puck to a trailing Tomacek. Wrist shot, just missed the net. Off the boards, kept alive by Zinchenko. Here's Bo Zinchenko, Indiana's goal leader, handing it to Peavy and in front to Tomacek, and he fans on it. Loose puck, Millette brings it out to center ice, and he'll roll it slowly back into the Indiana end. Sentinels with an errant pass through center, trying to set up shop on this Odds Insurance power play. And the puck cleared by the Prowlers now, all the way down deep into the Indiana end. Kerr stopping it in behind the net. Challenged in deep by Anderson. But the Sentinels able to converge and get control. Panavonov from in behind his own net. 58 seconds to go on the power play. Panavonov reached wide to Cunningham. Stepping over the line on left wing court Huron territory. Knocked down along the boards. Anderson comes away with the puck. Short-handed for the Prowlers. 2-on-3 into the Indiana end. Now Hivell Smith able to get back into the play and knock the puck away. And Bormanis takes over in behind his own net. 40 to go on the power play. Haas Insurance power play. Bormanis through center. Able to roll it in deep and go after it. Left wing side of the Port Huron end. Trying to deliver to Esposito. Far boards, but broken up and cleared by the Prowlers. Willett back to get it. Feeds Bormanis at center. Shoots it in deep into the right wing corner. Esposito chasing it after it for the Sentinels. Also their Cunningham. Freeing it up. Right wing boards. Sentinels with it. Bormanis now over to Ross. His shot and a save made by Bork. Two Sentinels on front of the net creating havoc in front of Bork. One of them now knocked down. That was Esposito, and the puck cleared by the Prowlers back into the Indiana end, and the penalty is over. Even strength, 2:18 to go. Second, 2-1 Indiana. Prowlers up with the puck, left wing side. Heikkila, Indiana end. Getting it towards the net, and a stop made on the shot from the far wing by Heikkila. Kerr able to come up with a stop there, and the puck cleared by the Sentinels through center and all the way down deep into the Port Huron end. Here's Federley in behind his own goal. Leaving it for Brian Parsons. And he hands back to Federley, and they're going to just hold up in their own end once again. Federley and Parsons looking through center. Sentinels creating no breakout opportunities and continuing to hold the puck as Parsons, long feed at center, intercepted by Ross. Ahead to Merrick Tortorella off left wing. Tortorella cuts in deep. In against Federley, ridden to the boards by Federley. They both go down in behind the net. And Tortorella gets up, and he wants to tangle with Parsons in behind the goal. Play continues. Sentinels able to stop the puck as Kerr, as it rolled his way, holds on to it, while Maximus Merrick Tortorella in behind the play, and Parsons with a hold of one another are separated by the linesman. So Brian Parsons, 185 minutes in penalty time, coming into tonight for the 5'10", 160-pound defenseman, second on the team in that category, just a few behind Ben Brockway. And Maximus Merrick Tortorella, 40 minutes in penalty time for Indiana on the year, 6'2", 180-pound Ontario native. Going right at Parsons. And they'll each sit down and cool off here with 1:21 to go in the second period. We had fighting majors at 8:10 between Ivan Panavonov of Indiana and Blake Anderson of Port Huron. And now Maximus Merrick Tortorella and Brian Parsons tangle. Let's see what they'll put on the board here. With 1:21 to go in the second period. The faceoff is going to be back in Indiana territory. I think they're probably each going to get 2-minute minors for roughing. And that is going to be the case here. Each getting a 2-minute minor for roughing with 1:21 to go. in the second period of a great battle, the 15th and final one between these two teams this year. Indiana 4-8-2 against Port Huron on the season, 1-2-1 here at home. 3-6-1 at McMorran Place Arena in Port Huron. And the Sentinels trying to end the season series on a positive note here tonight. Tomacek out to center. Starts up right wing, 4-on-4. Extra room. Colarusso, left wing board. Sails it in behind the net. Navarro there to get it. Clears it along the left wing side. Millette able to work it free to Bobby Price. Taken away by Tomacek. His shot blocked by Organ. Loose to the side of the net. Tomacek there, and then Colarusso shoots one just wide of the net. Colarusso with it again on the left wing side. To Zinchenko in the near corner. Zinchenko off the boards with the puck to Ouellette. Chips it toward the goal. Handling it is Favaro. Pressured on the left wing side by Colarusso. And Millette able to come away with the puck down for Port Huron. 25 seconds to go. As he got it on the left wing side for a shot by Price that deflects, goes up over the glass and out of play. 22 seconds to go here in period two. The minor penalties to Maximus Merrick Tortorella of Indiana. And Brian Parsons will carry over into the third period. And the face-off will be in the left wing circle of the Indiana end to the stick side. Now goaltender Chris Kerr. Cooper Olson is Kerr's backup on the bench tonight. Made his pro debut on Sunday. Sentinels from the face-off have the puck. Noah Hippolyte-Smith comes out of his own end. Joining the play is Cunningham. Prowlers hustle back. Hippolyte-Smith carrying it up to the right wing corner and feeds right point Terrain. Long shot blocked. Loose inside the blue line. Prowlers Bucell gains control of it. Hippolyte-Smith pressures as time runs out in the second period. And a well-deserved hand for this Indiana team in the second period, standing up to Port Huron's toughness that they've presented all season long. And getting the lone goal of the second period to take a 2-1 lead to the locker room after 40 minutes. Second period of Sentinels hockey brought to you by Coca-Cola. And Indiana knows right now they are potentially 20 minutes away from a huge win over their rivals from the north, the Port Huron Prowlers, who are making their 5th appearance this year in this building and the 15th game overall between these two teams. And things couldn't start much better than they did tonight for Indiana. The Sentinels scored 29 seconds in. 29 seconds in, number 29 on your Sentinels roster, Dalton Anderson, playing in his 25th game with Indiana, gets his 6th goal in an Indiana uniform and 7th overall on the season to put Indiana on top, as the fans were still getting settled into their seats here. Anderson with a goal. Great pass by Blake Peavy out of the right wing corner to make that happen. 29 seconds into period number one. Anderson from Peavy. Anderson in his 35th game overall on the year, counting his time with Biloxi to start out the year. And he had 1 goal in 10 games with Biloxi. And now 6 more with Indiana, a total of 7 on the year. Peavy assisting for a 1-0 Indiana lead. It stood up till the Prowlers tied it at 7-17. Connor Bazal scores, deflecting in a shot from Brian Parsons. Brett Lockhart assists also. Both goals in the first period, even strength. And we were tied at 1 after 1 period. In the first, the Prowlers end up with the edge in shots on goal, 11 to Indiana's 10 in the second period. The Prowlers had the edge in the shots, and a lot of it territorially in the second as well, out shooting Indiana 17-6 in the second. But the only goal came from Indiana's Corey Cunningham. Another big acquisition as head coach Everett Thompson and company try to structure this team toward the future in the way they would like to institute their plans for this Sentinel team. We mentioned earlier some of the players have been here since pretty much the get-go for Indiana. Romeo Terrain, Jonas Lease, Ethan Esposito blending in with the new players that have come on board, a batch of them of late that have really helped the cause for Indiana. And Corey Cunningham is certainly one of those. Corey Cunningham in his 6th game now with the Sentinels has scored his 2nd goal. Cunningham set up nicely by Jonas Lease from in behind the net. Bo Zinchenko assisting also. Zinchenko's been here a good while for Indiana as well. He's played in 31 games this year. He's Indiana's leading goal getter, and he gets a helper on the Cunningham goal that has the Sentinels on top, coming at 11-10 off period 2 for a 2-1 Sentinels lead. Shots in the 2nd period, 17 for Port Huron and 6 for Indiana. 2-period totals, the Prowlers with 27 shots on goal and Indiana with 17. And in the penalty minute category, didn't have a lot in period number 1, but the intensity started to spike in period 2. And 17 minutes in penalty time handed out to Port Huron so far tonight. 11 for Indiana. And 1 set of fighting majors, and that happened in period number 2 as Ivan Panovanov engaged with Port Huron's Blake Anderson in a great bout between those two. In the far corner of the Sentinels' end, Panovanov able to land some lefts. That fight lasted a good while. And then the linesman stepping in to separate them and sending them to the penalty box where they will each assessed 5-minute majors for fighting, and all of the other penalties have been minors tonight. So we were curious how it would go. These two teams combining for over 100 minutes in penalty time the last time they got together here in Indiana. 55 minutes for the Sentinels, 51 for the Prowlers. Back on the 1st of March, a game that the Sentinels won 3-2. They've seen each other twice since then, both in Port Huron. The Prowlers winning 3-0 on March 6th, and then following that up with a 5-2 win on March 7th. So can the Sentinels conclude the season series against this team, the penalty minute leaders in the FPHL, on a positive note? We will find out when period number 3 unfolds, and we invite you to stay tuned for it. After 2, here at the Hamilton Community Ice Arena in Columbus, Indiana, our score, the Indiana Sentinels 2, the Port Huron Prowlers 1 on the Indiana Sentinels Hockey Network.
It's calling me. Like the rainbow. It's calling me. Like the rainbow. The rainbow.
and his entire team, from the most simplistic things to the most complex, are phenomenal. They're informative, responsive, and something that's important to me, they're honest.
As a business owner myself, I know how important it is to protect your livelihood. I'm Scott Weatherford, owner of Richard Hawes Insurance. Give me a call today and we can chat about how an independent agent can save your business money.
What's in your decision to donate blood? More than you know. One donation can save lives and fuel research to save many more. A few moments of your time sparks moments like these. And these. Hope cures, empowers, and strengthens us. Hope is in all the moments that matter. And it's in all of us. Versity Blood Centers. Hope. It's in our blood.
Tonight at the Hamilton Community Ice Arena on the final weekend of the inaugural season at home for the Sentinels. They carry a 2-1 lead into the third as we get ready to face it off here in a bit. Indiana goals scored tonight by Dalton Anderson and Corey Cunningham. Chris Kerr in net has stopped 26 of 27 shots on goal. And the Sentinels are 20 minutes away. Here they can put forth a big effort in the third from getting their 10th victory in regulation time on the season and trying to end the season series with Port Huron on a good note. They've played each other 14 times coming into tonight, 10 in Port Huron, 4 here. And the Sentinels have won 4 against the Prowlers. 4-8-2 is Indiana's record. Port Huron winning 2 games in overtime and trying to finish the season series on a strong note. The Sentinels are already excited about next season. They will have the early bird season ticket sale in effect now through May 1st. And you can get 28 home games, all 28 home games, the full season plan, and that includes exclusive season ticket holder perks. All of that for $300. That is a savings of $120 off the full price. Also, half-season ticket plans are available at a price of $150, and that is a savings of $60 off the full price. That's if you act before May 1st, the early bird season ticket sale going on now through May 1st. And the Sentinels have some exciting things in store for their final 2 games of the year in this building coming up tomorrow night and Saturday against the Binghamton Black Bears. Tomorrow night, the first 250 fans through the door here at the Hamilton Community Ice Arena will receive Sentinels rally towels. And then on Saturday night, the game-worn jerseys will be auctioned off, and every fan who enters the building will have a chance to win Jonas Lee's game-worn jersey. You'll automatically receive a ticket to the raffle with your ticket to the game. And if you'd like to increase your odds to try and better your chances to win that jersey, raffle tickets will be available for sale additionally to the one that every fan receives coming in. That's on Saturday night. Jonas Lee's game-worn jersey going to the lucky raffle winner. And then the remainder of the team's jerseys will be available through silent auction. So it's the last time that the Sentinels will need those jerseys this year. And if you're at the game, you could go home with one of them or perhaps more through the silent auction. Or if you are fortunate enough in the raffle with Jonas Lee's jersey, you could go home with that one as well. And that's coming up this weekend, Saturday, for the final home game of the regular season. And Friday night for the rally towels, that will be available to the first 250 fans through the door. And so a lot happening this weekend and the final weekend at home for the Indiana Sentinels. In their first year here in the FPHL. And the season certainly has gone by very quickly. It doesn't seem that long ago that October was here and we were dropping the puck for the very first time here at the Hamilton Community Ice Arena. But that's been the case. And a chance to get into the double digits in the win column if the Sentinels can be successful here tonight. And the Sentinels will attack from left to right. Here in period number 3, Chris Kerr getting set in net down to our left. And in net down to our right, making his first pro start, Jamison Bork. For the Port Huron Prowlers, who's seen very limited action in just 2 games this year for the Prowlers, both in a relief capacity, one of them coming on Sunday afternoon to get him a little bit of game action, ready for the start tonight. Third period underway, and the Prowlers control the face-off to start the third. And we'll see if the Sentinels can get some additional pressure on this young goaltender. They were only able to get 6 shots on him in the second, but one of them finding the target for the go-ahead goal. Puck in deep, right wing side. Prowler territory. Port Huron able to clear. Cole Willett with it for Indiana, retreating back into his own end. Willett stick handling, feeding Richie Colarusso on the right wing side. Colarusso outlets to Noah Hippolyte-Smith on the move through center. Hippolyte-Smith works it through to the net. Forced wide on the play from the right wing side by Federley, and as the puck rolls in on Bork, he hangs on to it to stop play. 44 seconds into period number 3. The officials working the game tonight. Referees are Jesse Burns and Chris Hoy. Brian Thurnauer and Andre Gustafson are the linesmen. And the puck sent by the Sentinels in deep into the right wing corner of the Prowler end. As they try and dig it loose off the boards, the Prowlers get possession of it. Clear through center, picked up on the left wing side, and played back to the right point, intended for Vivaro. Pass sent his way by Anderson. Sentinels break it up. Vivaro with it now back in his own end. Just over a minute gone here in this third period. And out to center ice, up the right wing side, skates Blake Anderson, and he rolls it in deep in behind the Indiana net. Puck to the left wing boards. Panovanov trying to clear it out. Centering attempt, broken up by Indiana's newest defenseman, Zach Ross. Works it to Esposito, who on the backhand feeds it through center, deep in behind that Port Huron net. Prowlers up with it. Indiana with some fresh personnel out here now. Tomacek with Bormanis and Peavy up front. Terrain on defense, joined by Seth Bacon. And the Prowlers still troubled on the breakout. Hammer the puck the length of the ice. One of their game plan is to try and blast that puck through their own end. They risk the icing call, and they have Lackney ahead of the play, trying to get to it before the Sentinels do to negate the icing off the carom. But Sentinels get there first, and icing is called. And the puck brought back deep into the Port Huron end for the faceoff. Ray for the Sentinels against Bormanis of Indy in the right wing circle. And the puck knocked in behind the Prowler net. Prowlers get to it from the faceoff. And out to center, Ray able to shoot it back into the Indiana end. Sentinels play the other way. Peavy directing it through center. Deep into Port Huron territory. And the Prowlers up with the puck. Just one shot on goal so far here in the third. It belongs to Indiana. 2 minutes and 20 seconds into this third period. And again, the Prowlers on the breakout, just taking their good old time. Parsons handling it near his own blue line. Indiana not giving any ground at center. Now Federley with a puck. Federley will do the long launch right on net. Kerr stops that. And the Sentinels get control, and Willett will clear it out to center. Prowlers after it at center. They try and bring it into the Indiana end, but Bormanis knocks it away. Here's Christers Bormanis up the right wing side. Coming in along the near boards, double teamed. In there to try and help out and free that puck up, Zinchenko, but the Prowlers come away with it. Organ at his own blue line, driving it back into his own end to Parsons. And will they do it again on the breakout? Parsons leaving the puck for Organ, back to Parsons, far circle of his own end. Long feed at center off the stick of Merrick Tortorella and gathered in by Terrain. And he'll use the left wing boards to clear it all the way down deep into the Port Huron end. Nicholas Favaro with it in behind his own net. Sentinels 2, Prowlers 1. Favaro Sidesteps a forecheck from Zinchenko. Gets the puck ahead to James and off now to Millette on the right wing side. Terrain over to challenge, knocks the puck away. Kept in though with the right point. Favaro, long shot, hits traffic. Millette in front on a backhander, challenged by Lease, disrupting that shot. And the Sentinels, Zinchenko clears it to Maximus Merrick Tortorella at center, sending it back into the Port Huron end. Prowlers James back the other way. Indy territory into the slot with a shot. Traffic converging on the net as Kerr stops that and hangs on to it. And Kerr skating away from that jam up in front of the net as players exchange words with one another and things settle down here. With 16:05 remaining in the third, we're going to have some penalty time issued. It's going to be a roughing call. And it's going to go against Port Huron's Luke James. So here's a great chance on the Haas Insurance power play for Indiana. James off to the box. He continued that little fray in front of the net after the whistle. And he's called for roughing 3 minutes and 55 seconds into the third period. So here's a chance on the man advantage for Indiana. And the power play unit comes out here. Tomacek on the left side, Zinchenko at center, Peavy on the right, Colarusso at the right point, Panovanov on the left, face off in the far circle of the Prowler end. Tomacek comes away with the puck, leaves it for Zinchenko, left wing corner, steers one toward the net, off the side of the goal it goes. Prowlers now get possession, and they'll clear it all the way through center and back into the Indiana end. Kerr leaving it for Colarusso in behind his own net. 1:40 to go on the Haas Insurance power play. Outlet feed at center ice to Zinchenko. Delivers right wing to Tomacek off the near board. Spun around on a hit by Favaro. And the Prowlers come up with a puck and they clear it out to center ice. Panavana with it at center. Ahead to Colarusso. Stepping up right wing, had the puck knocked away, and it's cleared by Port Huron's Heikala all the way back into the Indiana end. 1:16 to go. Still a lot of time on the power play. Collision in behind the play. Zinchenko knocks down Millette. Sentinels with the puck. Millette trying to get back into the play. And Willett for Indiana with the puck as Millette for Port Huron scrambles back into the defensive end. Puck fed to Cunningham, left wing for Indiana. Now to Zinchenko in the far corner. Back to Cunningham. Out to Willett from the left point. Over to the right side to Panovanov. He shoots, deflected in front by Zinchenko, and goes up over the glass and out of play. So some good work on the power play there for Indiana. 53 seconds to go on the Haas Insurance power play chance. And 14:57 remains in the third. Face-off coming up in the Port Huron end when we return for the duration of the Indiana power play. Sentinels leading it 2-1 on the Sentinels Hockey Network.
Vitamin water helps keep me hydrated. Encore. After encore. After encore. Next thing you know, it felt just like this. Come on. Vitamin water from New York.
It's calling me like the rainbow. It's calling me like the rainbow. The rainbow.
Thank you for being here with us for these several months. We cannot wait to come back in the fall.
The third period of Indiana Sentinels hockey is brought to you by Ryan Fur Creative. Face-off coming up in the right wing circle of the Port Huron end. Glove side of Jamison Burke. Zinchenko ready on the draw for Indiana. Burke, a pretty good goaltender, good sized goaltender, 6'2", 205. Takes up a lot of net. Sentinels control, back to Bacon, right point. Over to Willett on the left point. He shoots one, and that's high and wide of the goal. Puck into the right wing corner. After it, Noah Hivlett-Smith of Indiana trying to work it free. Power play down to 36 seconds. Hivlett-Smith feeds Bacon, right point. Off to Willett. Just inside the blue line on the left wing side. He'll cycle it down deep to Zinchenko, left wing corner. Back to Willett. His shot rising and gloved by Bork dropping down into the butterfly and getting the glove up and making the stop and hanging on to that puck to bring about another face-off in the Port Huron end. 25 seconds remaining in the Haas Insurance power play for Indiana. Lee's out here now with Anderson. Up front, Esposito joining them. And from the face-off, puck knocked into the left wing corner, Port Huron end. Prowlers get possession of it. And they'll clear it, and that's going to just about do it for this Haas Insurance power play chance as Kerr stops it in behind the net. Leaves it for Panovanov. Out of the box in 5 seconds is James. He went for roughing. Sentinels deal it down deep into the Port Huron end. Teams now at even strength. 6 minutes gone in the third. Sentinels leading it 2-1. Right wing side of Port Huron territory, dug free by Brett Lockhart. And the Prowlers will take possession of it. Lockhart in his own territory. Feeds it across to Favaro, right wing side, and they'll slow down things again. On the move to center. Fired long range, well wide of the Indiana net by Favaro, and this is going to be an icing call against Port Huron. And they'll bring it all the way down deep into the Port Huron end again for the face-off with 13:35 remaining in the third period. And only one penalty in this third period so far, the roughing minor to Luke James of Port Huron. Sentinels off the face-off, have it left wing to get it in front. Merrick Tortorella there, diving out to stop it though, is Bork. Put toward the net again from the right wing side by Bacon and wide of the goal. Merrick Tortorella to Bacon, right point, off to Ouellette, left wing side. Sweeps it in deep behind the net. Peavy there to take it for Indiana. Frees it for Merrick Tortorella. Out to the right circle. He shoots and scores! Maximus Merrick Tortorella picks the spot just inside the goalpost on the stick side of Bork. Indiana 3, Port Huron 1. So the Sentinels did not connect on the power play chance, but they keep the pressure on at full strength and get the goal that puts them on top by 2. 6:52, the time of the goal here in the third period. Indiana now out shooting the Prowlers 4-1. In this third period, and Maximus Merrick Tortorella scoring his 8th goal of the season in his 32nd game in a Sentinels uniform. Puts Indiana on top 3-1. Puck deflected up and out of play right in front of the Port Huron bench as we return to action. And the faceoff will take place in the left wing circle, Port Huron territory. Jonas Lease to take the face off. Tomacek to his left. Zinchenko to the right. Panovanov. And Ross working the points for Indiana. Millette on the face off against Lees. Stick side of Bork. And the face off controlled by the Prowlers. Millette out of his own end to center red. Back checked at center by Tomacek, but able to deal the puck down deep into the Indiana end. Full screen near side Indiana territory. Panovanov after it, frees it up for Zinchenko, and he'll lift it on the backhand. High in the air through center and back into the Port Huron end. Prowlers just knock it right to center ice again, and Tomacek has it. Over to Zinchenko, stepping up right wing. Bearing in, one-arming that puck toward the net, getting a shot off, save made, rebound, Hippolyte-Smith. Unable to get it teed up in front. Boy, a good chance there for Noah Hippolyte-Smith in front of that Port Huron goal. Colarusso keeps it alive to Terrain. Into the slot comes Terrain. Backhand shot and a stop made by Bork. Boy, the Sentinels really pouring it on right now. Trying to add to their lead is Temperance Flair again in around that Port Huron goal. We've got 2 scruffs going on, one in the left wing corner and one in behind the net. Nothing really erupting in fiery fashion, but clutching and grabbing going on, and the players are separated. And Jamie Bussell will head over to the Port Huron penalty box. Esposito is going to head off for Indiana. Well, he was in the box. Now he'll head over toward the Indiana bench. And the officiating crew is gathered at center ice to issue the penalties to each team here with 12:07 remaining in the third period. Jesse Burns, Chris Hoy, the referees, Brian Thurnauer, Andre Gustafson are the linesmen tonight. And right now, the only penalty time on the board is to Bucell. Now Esposito is going to step back into the Indiana penalty box. They've got 2 minutes on the board against Bucell. We'll see if anything's going to be handed out against Indiana here. It will be for certain with Esposito off, but how it's all going to stack up, we'll find out here in just a second. So another feisty game between Indiana and Port Huron. Surprise, surprise.
Sentinels 42 and Prowlers 46, both 2 minutes for roughing at 12:07.
Bucell's going to get a roughing minor, and ditto that for Esposito. So neither team gets a power play out of this. Port Huron, the most penalized team in the FPHL, 1,436 minutes coming in through their 47 games, 1,010 minutes in penalty time for Indiana through 46. Last time the two teams met here, 106 minutes in penalty time was accumulated between the two teams, 55 to Indiana, 51 to Port Huron. The faceoff is going to come back into the Indiana end. 7:53 gone here in the third period. And Indiana leading it 3-1. Huge goal scored by Maximus Merrick Tortorella at 6:52. Blake Peavy assisting. 2 assists tonight for Peavy. Beautiful goal by Tortorella. As Indiana on top by a 2-goal margin. But Port Huron, a very powerful offensive team. No room for letting up. Now they're going to put an additional 2 minutes on the board against Indiana, and it's going to become a power play opportunity for Port Huron. That was what the delay was all about, as they got that all sorted out. In the box for Indiana is Zach Ross. Power play for the Prowlers to get the puck toward the front of the net, and Tomachek able to knock it away. Kept alive by Millette on the right wing side. Port Huron on the man advantage, trying to cut the deficit to 1. With it is Federle, just inside the blue line on the near wing. Back to Organ at the left point. He feeds Millette, right point. Now to Federle outside the left wing circle. Dropping it off, goal line to the left of the net to Price. Back to Federle. Dangles into the slot, feeds Organ, guns one high and wide of the net, and it goes off the glass and out of play. To stop the clock now with 11:27 to go in the third. And 1:21 left on the power play chance for Port Huron. Powerade penalty kill for Indiana. And they've been strong in that department here tonight. And the faceoff comes up once again in the right wing circle of the Indiana end. We've got 21 minutes in penalty time to Port Huron, 13 to Indiana tonight. Puck sent up over the glass and out of play off the faceoff in the Indiana end, so they'll line up and do it once again. 11:25 remains. Third period, Sentinels on top 3-1. Jonas Lease ready on the faceoff for Indiana. Right wing circle against Blake Anderson. Curves glove side, comes toward the net off the draw, right to Seth Bacon of Indiana, and he promptly and alertly clears it out through center and back into the Port Huron end. Prowlers start the rush quickly. trying to take advantage of the power play time. With it on the left wing side, Anderson steers it into the high slot to Favaro. He'll drop it off right wing side to an open man. That is Price, and then back to Favaro, who gunned one wide of the Indiana net. Back to Favaro, left point now. Long shot, wrister on net. Taken off the chest by Kerr as he dropped down and stayed right with it and makes the stop. His 29th save of the night on 30 Port Huron shots on goal. With 10:52 to go in the third period, 46 seconds left on the power play time for the Prowlers. We've got Bacon and Bormanis out here as penalty killers, with Merrick Tortorella and Terrain. Bormanis to take the face-off in the left wing circle of the Port Huron end against James, and the draw controlled by the Sentinels, and they clear it all the way back down deep into the Port Huron end. 35 seconds now to go. And the Powerade penalty kill. Here's a puck taken away by Bormanis at the Prowler blue line. He's converged upon, and then Port Huron able to recover it as Luke James takes possession. Feeds it along the right wing side to Federley. He'll drop it off near wing to James. Double team knocked down by Tortorella, and that'll enable the Sentinels to clear it all the way back down deep into the Port Huron end. Just 8 seconds left on the power play for the Prowlers. Aaron pass by Port Huron through center, coming into the Indiana end right toward Kerr. He stops it, and then one of the Prowlers put a Sentinel player, Luke James did, into the body of Kerr right in around the net. That was Luke James shoving one of the Sentinel defenders into Kerr in front of the net. 2 seconds left on the power play for Port Huron. And Willette then jawing after the play, and Willette's going to get sent off. So Reggie Millette goes to the box for Port Huron. And in 2 seconds, Indiana will be back on the Haas Insurance power play. This at the 9:52 mark of the third period. And Indiana has a chance to add to the lead once again. It's going to be an unsportsmanlike conduct call to Reggie Millette of Port Huron. And the puck will be brought all the way back down deep into the Port Huron end for the faceoff. And the Sentinels will go to work on a Haas Insurance power play in just 2 seconds here. Zinchenko to handle this faceoff. Right wing circle of the Port Huron end against Blake Anderson. And for the faceoff, puck played in behind the Prowler net. Prowlers get to it, and here comes Price out to center. Up left wing, Indiana end, launches a shot from the top of the left circle that's well wide of the net. Puck carrying all the way back to center ice. Indiana on the man advantage right now. And the Prowlers just sail it through center deep into the Sentinels end. Kerr handles it in behind the net, leaves it for Tomacek on the left wing side, and off now to Zinchenko along the far boards. Feeds it center ice. Back to Zinchenko up left wing. Long shot, well wide of the Prowler goal. Off the boards, Price able to force it through center, back into the Indiana end. 1:20 to go on the power play for Indiana. Zinchenko at center. Spots Cunningham left wing, hits him with a pass. Cunningham cuts in deep. Carries it in behind the net to the near boards. Delivers to Colarusso at the right point. Now to Tomacek, open left wing. In front with it. Zinchenko, a backhander. Save made. Diving out. Cork unable to cover it up. Colarusso keeps the play alive. Back to Tomacek at the left point. Philippe Tomacek for Indiana. To Peavy left wing circle, trying to center. That's blocked. Zinchenko after it in behind the net. Feeds into the right corner to Colarusso. Now to Tomacek. At the point, Tomacek trying to slide it across to Colarusso, but intercepted by Anderson, who clears it back into the Indiana end. 37 seconds to go on the Haas Insurance power play. 8:41 left in the third. Here comes Noah Hippolyte-Smith through center. Turns on the speed up right wing. Cutting down the near side, had the puck knocked away by Port Huron's Lockhart. And the Prowlers get possession. DeCumbus out to center. Over skates, and Cunningham taking over there for Indiana. Off on the right wing side to Hippolyte-Smith, but the play is offside at the Port Huron line, stopping the clock with 16 seconds to go in the power play opportunity. And 8:23 to go here in this third period. So the Sentinels up 3-1, 8:23 away. If they can add to it, make it stand up. Indiana 3, Port Huron 1. 8:23 to go in the third on the Sentinels Hockey Network. Three different goal getters tonight for Indiana. Dalton Anderson in the first. Corey Cunningham in the second. Maximus Merrick Tortorella in the third for this 3-1 Indiana lead. Lone goal scored by Port Huron belongs to Connor Bazal. That came at 7:17 of the first period to tie it after Anderson put Indiana on top 29 seconds in. And we were tied at 1 at the end of one. Indiana up 2-1 after two. Second period goal scored by Corey Cunningham. And then Maximus Merrick Tortorella lighting the lamp here in the third at 6:52. Blake Peavy with a pair of assists. Christopher Bormanis assisting on the first Indiana goal. Jonas Lease and Bo Zinchenko assisting on the second, the Cunningham goal, and then Peavy assisting on the Merrick Tortorella goal here in the third. Face off outside the Port Huron blue line and the Prowlers control. And they'll send it out at center ice. We're taken by Ray, looking to dump it in deep. Now Lee's tied up away from the play with one of the Prowlers, and they shove at one another. That's Bobby Price. Millette out of the box now, teams at even strength. Puck bouncing at center. Panovanov settles it down. Dumps it deep into the Port Huron end. Rolls along the right wing side. Lockhart is there. And Lockhart clears to center ice. Zinchenko with it at center for Indiana. Throws it down deep in behind that Port Huron net. Parsons with it now. Far side of his own end. Outlets on the right wing side to Jamie Bussell. Trying to play it into the Indiana end. Panovanov knocked it away. And now coming up with it is Bacon for Indiana. And then played by Peavy from his own blue line out through center. And it goes back into the Port Huron end. 7:25 remains in the third. Indiana leading it 3-1. And the Prowlers with a long pass through center goes off Tomacek's stick down deep into the Indiana end. After Price able to come up with it and feed to the right point with it. Favaro shot blocked. And recovering for Port Huron, stepping toward the front of the net and turning and firing it toward the goal is Heikkila, and he put it off the side of the net. Parsons with it now. Long shot through a screen right with it. Kerr makes the stop. Hangs on to it. And knocked down in front of the net was Luke James. He tried to move in on Kerr, and the Sentinels taking advantage of that. And we'll see if the penalty gate's going to swing open here. I believe it will. With 6:59 remaining in this third period. We'll see. James knocked down, and it is going to be a penalty against Zach Ross, who had shoved him to the ice after the whistle. So Ross will sit down. And the Prowlers will get a chance here on the man advantage to try and cut the deficit to 1 with 6:59 remaining in the third period. And the faceoff will take place in the right wing circle of the Indiana end. Draw one by the Sentinels. Puck knocked forward by Bormanis, and the Sentinels clear. It's rolling into the Prowler end toward the net. Bork to play it away with Bormanis pressuring Bobby Price, who had come back for that puck. Now the Prowlers with Price on the move through center. Played it in deep in behind the Indiana net. Powerade penalty kill for Indiana. Bussell left wing side for the Prowlers. Out to Favaro with the left point. Just does keep it in. Feeds Bucell, left wing. Lost it to Terrain. Romeo clears it all the way down deep into the Port Huron end. 1:24 to go in the Powerade penalty kill for Indiana. 6:17 to go in the third period. Sentinels by 2. And here in his own end, starting forward with the puck, Lackney has to retreat now. Back in behind his own goal to arrange things on the power play, and he's pressured now. It was a delayed offside against Indiana, so as the Sentinels touch the puck, the whistle blows here with 1:06 to go in the penalty to Zach Ross. And the faceoff will be in the Indiana end. And another penalty is going to be called. I think the Sentinels might have been caught for too many men on the ice here. Ethan Esposito sits down, and this is going to be a 2-man advantage opportunity for the Prowlers for 1:06. It is a too many men on the ice penalty against Indiana. So the door open for the Prowlers. 2-man advantage for 1:06 and 54 seconds to work with. After that, when we return, 6:04 to go in the third. Sentinels 3, Prowlers 1 on the Indiana Sentinels Hockey Network. .604 remains in the third period. The third period of Indiana Sentinels hockey is brought to you by Ryan Fur Creative. 3-1 is the score. The face-off will be in the right wing circle of the Indiana end. Jonas Lease gets set on the draw against Reggie Millette. Now Millette is waved out of the face-off circle, and Luke Jean will come in to handle the draw. Puck knocked to the far side, and the Prowlers come away with possession of it. Holding it along the right point is Federley. Leaves it for James left side. 5-on-3. James to Millette, left wing circle. Cuts into the slot. Fakes the shot. Leaves it for a trailing Federley. He looks toward the goal. Now steps back toward the blue line. Cycles it in deep for James in the left wing corner. Back to Federley. Working his way to the net. Dropping the puck now to Millette outside the left wing circle. Off to Price at the center point. 33 seconds on the 2-man time. Lots of ice for the Prowlers to work with. Price playing catch with Federley. Back to Price. Now to Millette. Left wing circle to Federley. Center point. Delivers right side Lackney. Back to Federley. Now to Millette. Left wing circle. Millette to Federley. Erming that Price's shot. Blocked by Terrain. Sentinels with it. Can they clear? No. Millette keeps it alive. Millette at the right point. Millette bearing in toward the goal, leaving it for the right wing side. A blast on net by an open man Price, and the stop is made by Kerr, and he hangs on to it. 6 seconds to go in the 2-man advantage for the Prowlers. 1:01 to go in the penalty time in all. Outstanding work by the Sentinels on the Powerade penalty kill. 5 new skaters come on for the Prowlers on this power play. They've got Anderson out here with Bucell. Favaro will work the left point. Ray on the right side. And Heikala out here as well. Sentinels, Bormanis on the faceoff. Prowlers control. Back to Favaro. In from the left point through the high slot. Shoots, and that's wide of the Indiana net. Puck bouncing off the boards near side. Prowlers, Bucell keeps it alive. 46 seconds now. 1-man advantage power play time. Bucell dropping the puck on the left wing side. Tried to get it to Anderson, but the Sentinels force it away. Zinchenko, good work up front on the penalty kill. And Bormanis, he'll take the puck outside the Port Huron bench, stepping into the Prowler end. shorthanded, gets tied up now, and the Prowlers come away with possession. Right wing Anderson, Indiana in, dropping it off to a trailer Ray, who snaps a shot wide of the Indiana net. Heikkila with it off the boards. Heikkila cuts in deep. 15 seconds on the power play. Out to Oregon left point. Off to the right side. Long shot deflects wide as it was let go by Anderson. Puck bouncing free. Oregon keeps it alive. Near side Indiana in. But an errant pass comes outside the zone. And Anderson comes back for it as the penalty expires. Anderson into the Indiana end. Leaving it for Bucell. Back to Anderson in front. His backhander high over top the net goes up over the glass and out of play. And a lot of this crowd is standing to show their support for the Sentinels on the Powerade penalty kill. They were able to shut down a two-man advantage for a very lengthy period of time and maintain their two-goal lead. And the clock stops with 3:56 remaining in the third period here at the Hamilton Community Ice Arena. Our score, the Sentinels 3, the Prowlers 1 on the Indiana Sentinels Hockey Network. The Prowlers went to the power play when Zach Ross was sent off for roughing at 13:01. And then at 13:56, it turned into a two-man advantage when the Sentinels were whistled for 2 minutes on the ice. Now the Prowlers, back to even strength after Indiana kills the penalty, have pulled their goaltender with 3:56 to go to try and do something about this Indiana two-goal lead. Face off on the near side of the Indiana end, tying his man up off the draws. Hippolyte Smith and the puck to Tomacek. Long shot from in his own end, wide of that open net. And it'll be an icing call against Indiana with 3:46 now to go in the third. Well, you don't mind taking some pot shots at that empty net when you're up by 2. The icing call isn't quite as risky when it's a one-goal game. And now they'll move the face-off over to the right wing circle of the Indiana end. Glove side of Kerr. Noah Hippolyte Smith to stand in on it against Lackney. Or make that Willette. In a false face-off, they'll have to line up off the drop of the puck and do it again. The draw to take place in the Indiana end. This is an important game for the Prowlers. Trying to maintain their hold on second place in the Empire Division. Starting the night ahead of Topeka and Blue Ridge. Sentinels off the face-off, have the puck, and it'll be cleared all the way down to even to Port Huron territory by Cunningham. With it, Price back the other way. Empty net to our right. 6 attackers on Millette. Shouldered off the puck by Tomacek. Millette able to get it back. Led in behind that Sentinel goal. Sentinels converge defensively, and Terrain clears it all the way down deep into the Port Huron end. And this will be an icing call against Indiana with 3:16 remaining in the third period. Colarusso, Tomacek, Hippolyte Smith, Terrain, and Cunningham out here for Indiana in front of goaltender Chris Kerr. And the puck will be in deep in the right wing circle of the Indiana end for the face-off. 6 attackers, Lackney for Port Huron. DeCumbus out here, Lockhart. Oregon on the right point. Puck cleared by the Sentinels and might have a chance, and it trickles just wide of the empty net. Indiana clearing right off the face-off. The puck rolling on edge toward that Port Huron goal and just did miss the post on the near side. And so they'll bring it all the way back deep into the Sentinels end for the face-off once again with 3:09 to go. Bucell rounding out the 6 players on the ice with Dylan Marty for Port Huron. Face-off will be in the right wing circle Bussell takes it against Hippolyte-Smith. Glove side of Kerr. Sentinels control. Puck drawn back to Terrain. Backhanded in the air. It's bouncing into the Prowler end and wide of the net. A little on the right side again. Not nearly as close as the last one, but close enough. But missed the goal, and it'll be brought back down deep into the Indiana end for the faceoff once again with 3 minutes exactly to go here in this third period. Anderson for Port Huron ready on the draw. Noah Hippolyte-Smith will oppose him. Draw one by Anderson. Back to Millette at the right point. Millette looking, holding it along the blue line. Challenged by Cunningham. Puck knocked away. Hippolyte-Smith after it, facing some pressure in the right wing corner. Prowlers trying to get free. It does. Bounce loose in behind the net. Handled there in deep by Lockhart. Feeds Favaro right point off right wing side. Price shot blocked. Price with it again. Right wing boards to Millette at the right point. Now to Favaro in the center point. Delivers back to Millette right wing. Long shot by Millette. Wide of the Indiana net. Loose puck. Prowlers from behind the goal. Try and center. It bounces in the air. And trying to get it toward the front of the net. Federally, and it went off a player sticking up over the glass and out of play. 2:24 now remaining in the third period. Indiana leading it 3-1. The net down to our right remains empty. Prowlers with 6 attackers on. Christers Bormanis to take the face off in the right circle of the Port Huron end against Jamie Bussell. Glove side of Kerr. And from the face-off, the Prowlers control. They get it to Morgan at the right point. Feeds it along the right wing boards to Marty. Back now to Lockhart at the left point. Lockhart sending the puck into the near corner where it's handled by Bussell. Sentinels break it up. Tortorella able to knock it free to center. Recovering is Organ. Trying to work it on the right wing side. Broken up. Marty now with it at center ice for Port Huron. 2 minutes to go. Marty to Lackney, and he'll drop it off into the right wing corner of the Indiana end. Shot by Lackney from the right wing side. And a stop made by Kerr. Loose puck. Right wing boards. Lackney keeping it alive. Challenged by Dalton Anderson on the right wing side. Prowlers get it to Lockhart to the left point. Center point now Oregon. Slap shot wide of the net. Off the boards. Bussell with it. Feeds Lockhart left point. 1:38 to go. Lockhart delivering right wing corner. Taken there by Lackney. Back to Lockhart. Now to Lackney again outside the right wing circle. 1:30 to go. Sentinels by 2. Right wing side shot on net. Stop made. Loose puck in front. Fired wide of the net by Lackney. A great chance there. Puck still free and behind the Indiana goal. Lucas Lackney after it. Delivers to the right point. Shooting is Lockhart blocked. Loose puck in around the net. Cleared away from the side of the net area by Bacon. Prowlers continue to pressure. And Bacon takes his man down in the left wing corner. Play continues. Prowlers double the puck. They try and keep it in. They do. Millette gunning one from the right point. Stick stop made by Millette. And it goes up over the glass and out of play. And that one knocks Kerr off stride as he stopped that big blast by Millette with the stick. And he gets the congratulations and well-deserved from his teammates right there. Kerr off balance as Millette gunned that big slap shot from the right wing side, and Kerr able to get the stick out to direct it in the air and up over the glass and out of play. 57 seconds to go, and the face-off will be in the right wing side of the Indiana end. And the Prowlers off the face-off had control, but Nelson-Chenko is able to force the puck out to center with some great work in the defensive end. Prowlers try and play it in deep. Terrain knocks it away. Plays it into the Port Huron end. Tomacek after it. He's knocked down. Heikala after the puck now. Indiana territory. Taken into the boards by Zinchenko on the left wing side. Clock down to 34 seconds. Prowlers try and dig the puck free. Indiana on top 3-1. Price out of the near corner. Putting it in front of the net and unable to get to it was Federle. Kept in by Millette. Off to the right wing corner where Price has the puck. Gets it behind the goal for a wraparound attempt. Stepping toward the front being denied as Marty Sentinels clear it toward the empty net and they score into the empty net with 13 seconds to go. And they will put this one in the win column as Zinchenko from center ice gets it on goal into the empty net. It goes, and Indiana is on top 4-1. What a tremendous night here for the Sentinels, starting in net and on out. Chris Kerr making 38 saves, and Indiana withstanding the barrage at the end and getting the empty net goal with 13 seconds to go. And the fans who've come out here tonight on this first of three to start the final weekend of the season will go home happy. Bozinchenko into the empty net, and the crowd will count it down. Great victory for the Indiana Sentinels tonight. 4-1 over the Port Huron Prowlers. The Sentinels in the final game of this season series between these two great rivals prevail by a final of 4-1. They scored early, 29 seconds into the game to set the tone. They withstood a tremendous amount of pressure in the second period by the Prowlers, who outshot Indiana 17-6 in the second, but carried a 2-1 lead into the third and add to it in the third with a pair of goals and leave this building tonight triumphant in their first of three on home ice to conclude the regular season. 4-1 is the final score, and Indiana gets victory number 10 on the regular season. And they will send the Prowlers back to Michigan knowing that they've got a very big series on home ice coming up in their building against Topeka. And no doubt the Scarecrows were among the Sentinels' biggest fans, at least for a night, this one here tonight, as they prevent the Prowlers from getting some very important points in the standings. And Indiana thrilled to celebrate in front of the home fans here tonight. The Sentinels victorious this past weekend on Saturday night, and they follow that up with a huge win here tonight over their rivals from up north in Port Huron, Michigan. Indiana victorious by a final score of 4-1. So they see each other 15 times over the course of the regular season, and a rough and tumble season series it's been. And Indiana will finish 5-8-2 against the Prowlers and getting the victory in the final meeting between these two teams. And it started off on a great note for the Sentinels. One of the keys for Indiana was to try and get this game off to a good start after Sunday afternoon when they surrendered a goal very early in period number one against Topeka 16 seconds in, after giving one up 11 seconds in on Friday night to the Scarecrows. But not only did they prevent that from happening here tonight, but they got one of their own in the first 30 seconds of the game. It was Dalton Anderson scoring 29 seconds in, set up nicely by Blake Peavy, also assisting on it. Christos Bormanis, even strength goal, and 29 seconds into the game, the Sentinels had a 1-0 lead. Anderson with his 7th goal overall on the season, his 6th in an Indiana uniform since coming on board from Biloxi earlier in the year. And Anderson stakes the Sentinels to a 1-0 lead. The Prowlers tie it on their only goal of the night, 7:17 of period number one. Connor Bazal, that's his 3rd of the year, deflecting in a shot from the point from Brian Parsons. Also assisting Brett Lockhart to even the game at 1. And that is how the first period ended. Things even pretty much in the shot category in the first, 11 for the Prowlers and 10 for the Sentinels. Port Huron 11 shots, Indiana 10 in period one. Second period, the Prowlers outshot the Sentinels by a heavy margin, 17-6. But the only goal of the period belonged to Indiana. Chris Kerr shuts the door on the Prowlers in the second, and Indiana takes the lead and gets what turns out to be the game-winning goal at 11:10 of period number 2. Corey Cunningham cashing in. Cunningham playing in his 6th game in a Sentinels uniform and collects his 2nd goal with Indiana and his 10th overall on the year, counting the time that he had spent with Monroe and Twin City before coming on board here with the Sentinels. And Cunningham with a goal at 11:10. Assist going to Jonas Lease. and Bo Zinchenko, 2-1 Indiana at the end of one. Or at the end of two, rather. Indiana on top 2-1 as we had completed 40 minutes. Into the third we go. And a huge goal scored by Maximus Merrick Tortorella of Indiana. 6:52 of the third period. Tortorella playing at his 32nd game this year with Indiana. And he gets his 8th of the year. And assisting Blake Peavy, second helper for Peavy on the night. And that put the Sentinels on top 3-1. The Prowlers throwing everything that they possibly can at Indiana in the latter stages of the period. And Indiana's penalty kill, the Powerade penalty kill, shined in the third when the Prowlers had some two-man advantage time. When the Sentinels were penalized at 13:01, a roughing minor to Ross, and then at 13:56, a too-many men on the ice penalty opened the door for Port Huron to try and get this deficit to within one, but Kerr and company did not let that happen. And back to even strength, the Prowlers pulling their goaltender with just over 3 minutes to go and getting the extra attacker on. Kept the pressure on, but could not solve Kerr, and Indiana tightening things up in the defensive end, successfully clearing the puck and then getting the opportunity into the empty net with 13 seconds to go. Bo Zinchenko scoring the empty net goal. 19:47 is the time of it. It is an unassisted goal, and it's the final goal of the night in this Indiana 4-1 victory. Winning net for Chris Kerr. He gets his 4th victory of the season. And his goals against average, which was a respectable 3.46 coming into tonight, that will drop further, surrendering just one goal. And that save percentage, which was at .904 coming into tonight, that will move up. A solid effort in net tonight for Chris Kerr for Indiana. Sentinels in their 47th game have now won 10, 31 losses, 4 overtime losses, no overtime wins. 2 shootout wins, 38 points now in the standings. Port Huron in its 48th game falls to 26 wins, 16 losses, 1 overtime loss, 3 overtime wins, 2 shootout wins. And for the moment, they remain in second place in the Empire Division, but there are some happy folks in Topeka and Blue Ridge tonight, happy that the Sentinels were able to knock the Prowlers off, because that keeps Topeka and Blue Ridge within striking distance of Port Huron, trying to gain the number 2 spot in the Empire Division as we head down the stretch in the 25-26 campaign. Topeka and Port Huron get set for a big series coming up that starts tomorrow night at Port Huron's McMorran Place Arena. And taking the loss in goal, Jamison Bort, rookie goaltender, first start here tonight, played very limited time over the course of the season, and Bort sustains the loss in net, facing 24 Indiana Sentinels shots on goal. So a great win tonight for Indiana. They led or were tied throughout, never had to battle back at all, and they showed the killer instinct when it mattered, and they did not lose their poise in the third period, and they get the big goal, 6:52 in from Maximus Merrick Tortorella for a 3-1 lead. Zinchenko, the empty netter. Anderson, 29 seconds in to set the tone. And the goal that turned out to be the game winner, scored by Cunningham, 11:10 off period number 2. So the Sentinels have 2 left on home ice, and those will both be against the Binghamton Black Bears to close out the year against the top team in the FPHL. Binghamton will bring its record of 38 wins, 5 losses, 2 overtime losses, no overtime wins, and 3 shootout wins into the Hamilton Community Ice Arena for games tomorrow night and Saturday to close out the regular season for Indiana. And a reminder of what's coming up this weekend, tomorrow night. First 250 fans through the door will receive Sentinels rally towels. Saturday night will be the jersey auction. Every fan entering the building will be entered into a raffle for Jonas Lease game-worn jersey. You can purchase additional raffle tickets, too, once you're here for that Jonas Lease game-worn jersey raffle. And then after the game, the remainder of the jerseys will be auctioned off in silent auction. Also, the Sentinels early bird season ticket sale continues now through May 1st. All 28 home games next year for $300. Save $120 off the full price. Half season ticket plans $150. Save $60 off the regular price. Tomorrow night, 7:15 starts our coverage for the Powerade for the Body Armor pregame show tomorrow. Body Armor pregame show coming your way at 7:15 Eastern Time. 7:30 face-off for Indiana and Binghamton. Third period of Indiana Sentinels hockey was brought to you by Ryan Fur Creative. And our thanks to the Ryan Fur production crew, Ryan Fur, Jordan Vickers, Thomas Voiles, Ethan Evans, Christian Taunton, and the entire crew bringing it your way tonight from the Hamilton Community Ice Arena. Our thanks to them. A happy night for the Sentinels. 4-1 is the final score. Indiana defeats Port Huron. I'm Jim Mirabello wishing you a good night from the Hamilton Community